Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final episode in this studio, but we'll get more to that later. I'm Gage Emoji, he's Emerson Hip, and this is the Intoxic.
It's easy.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
One
more time, what is this?
Amaretto sour.
Amaretto sour, it is good.
So I've never actually made one for myself. Happened to have a bottle of amaretto. And I look up the recipe on liquor.com, which is my main source for cocktail recipes.
Hey, what could be more trustworthy than liquor.com?
That's what I'm saying.
I hardly know her.
And so I made the cocktail based on the recipe, except it seemed like there was way too much sugar in it. And the first one I made for myself before you got over here, I put in half the amount of sugar that they called for, and it was still too sweet.
Wow.
So this is a quarter of the amount of sugar, and less amaretto than they call for as well.
Because I don't really get a lot of sweetness with this.
It's. I think it's just about balanced the way this one is.
Good sour, good sweet.
Yeah.
I like that's nice.
But amaretto's got a good flavor. It is sweet though, on its own, which we're gonna shoot some later, and you'll find out exactly how sweet it is. But no, I think it's a tasty cocktail.
Nice.
But I know it's meant to be, I think, a sweeter cocktail, but I think for my taste, I don't need that much sugar.
So it must be really that sweet though.
Yeah, because this is like I said, this is about a quarter of the amount of sugar that they called for.
Hey Ben.
Good, yourself? It's been a while.
It's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
We need to get a stained soundbite for every time we take a lot of time
during like the slower season
Yeah,
when we're not on this every week.
Exactly.
I'm not opposed to that. Maybe that's otherwise.
But yeah, we got a little playoff hockey on right now. We're gonna switch back to the Wolves Thunder.
We don't have to switch.
We really don't. That game's a blowout.
At half, it's like 30 points.
Yeah.
At half, and you guys obviously know this once you start listening.
Yeah.
Because it'll be tomorrow,
right,
or whatever. But I think they have 32 points. The Wolves do.
Yeah, it's 65-32 is the score. They're doubling them up at half.
Sal's happy.
Sal's feeling good.
Sal's very happy.
I'm happy for him. Hopefully
I didn't jinx it because he calls me a jinx, which I don't really appreciate. I don't really think I am a jinx.
You can be. Maybe not intentionally, but you can be.
Well, of course, I always talk about everything. So, of course, I'm going to be a jinx sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like, a clock is right twice a day. A broken clock is right twice a day.
This is true.
That's all I'm saying. I don't think I'm a jinx. Okay? I don't think I'm a jinx.
On the hockey side of things, we have Florida trying to close out the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah.
The Hurricanes uniforms, they kind of give Portland Trail Blazers vibes.
Yep. Same color scheme.
Even kind of the same, maybe not much as now, but maybe like the Brandon Roy number font.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit. Good call, yeah. Didn't even think about that.
But you know me, I love a black jersey, so I like these uniforms.
No, they're good.
And black and red, whoever figured out black and red together as a color combo.
Great combo.
Nobel Peace Prize.
Yep.
Because it's amazing.
Boy, Brent Burns playing for the Canes.
Yeah.
This was your pick to win the cup, right?
I think it was, yes. But I also love that, knock on wood, and I'm not trying to be a jinx, that we could get a Stanley Cup rematch for the first time since you said 2009?
9? Yeah. It's...
And to put it in perspective...
Looking very likely, yeah.
Before that, there hadn't been a back-to-back rematch since the mid-'80s.
Right.
Or early to mid-'80s.
Right.
So it doesn't happen that often.
No. I mean, it's... The fact that Florida's, on pace to go to their third straight is pretty impressive. Right. Like, that's really, really hard to do.
And did they go 7 in the first one? Or no?
No, I kind of think they got worked in that first one, if I remember right.
They lost to...
Vegas. Yeah, it was Vegas. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's lame.
It was probably 6 games now that I'm remembering.
That is pretty impressive. That I would imagine that probably has happened a lot more. Obviously,
a long time ago.
We're not going to exclude the Canadians, but they went to a lot back then.
Right.
Like the Oilers did with Gretzky. I think then they go to like 4 or 5 straight or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's impressive.
Before we get started with the news, rest in peace, Jim Irsay, owner of the Colts. He owned the Colts for almost 30 years and recently passed away at the age of 65, which is sad.
Kind of a couple years ago, things were a little weird. And I think, based off what I've heard after he passed away, that people, like, Peyton Manning came out and said that he was a great owner, great guy, would always, help you out if you need help. So, I don't think he was as bad as a guy as people might have thought. Yes, he had some substance issues.
Yeah, not a model citizen.
Not a model citizen, but hey, who is.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are, but it's...
Yeah. We're not all perfect.
We're not perfect, exactly. Yeah. So, but it's sad to see him go. I mean, like you said, he was only 65. It's still pretty young, I would say.
Yep.
And do we know how he died? Do we know what
I don't know if they've released that yet, to be honest. I kind of skimmed an article real quick, but I didn't see anything about it.
And I guess...
But he died in his bed, so...
Hey, what other way would you want to go?
Right.
And I guess seeing him in the past few years, he did look kind of like he was thin.
Yeah.
Maybe like, sick and that kind of like maybe cancer.
I guess I never noticed it, but yeah. It makes sense.
He was somebody that I learned not too long ago that had a really serious like music collection. Like guitars, like...
Oh, and he was like a musician himself, I believe. Yeah.
But he had like this, people like would refer to as like a rock museum of just guitars, basses, drum sets, and probably records too. So
right.
Seemed like a cool guy.
That is cool.
Off the field,
yeah.
Or outside of the.
I think he partied too.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of think when you're that loaded, and I think he did inherit the Colts.
He did from his dad.
Hey.
As far as I know.
Sometimes people get lucky like that. I'm not gonna hate on you for that.
Yeah. Do you know he was the GM of the Colts too before he became the owner?
So his dad owned it,
and he was the GM at the time. Yeah.
It's kind of like a Jerry Jones.
A little bit.
Jerry's the GM, I guess. But
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So he was.
He was like doing that in his like mid-20s to mid-30s. Yeah.
I mean, you got to think. Growing up, when you're the son of an owner, you're paying attention, I would think, to the game and how it works.
Yeah.
And everything all in between, like all behind the scenes stuff.
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people probably back then were like, "Oh, nepotism," and it probably is a little bit. 'Cause
your
dad's the owner. How could it not be?
And I can't think of the Colts being very good in that era either.
Yeah.
But not
so
to say.
That probably means I don't know if you know this, but did he own the team or was he strictly the GM when they drafted Peyton Manning?
I believe he was the owner at that point.
Got it.
Yeah, because I think, honestly, if I'm doing my math right, he took over the team the year that they drafted him, or the year before, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Took over as the owner.
Okay. So his dad was like the owner back when they were like in Baltimore and stuff. That kind of
I think he bought them, and maybe like was the guy that moved them to Indianapolis, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah. Don't fact check me on that, chat.
Was John Elway drafted to the Baltimore Colts?
He was asked, and he said he would not go there, I believe.
But they had the opportunity to draft him.
They did, yeah.
Like the first pick, I would assume, and he said he was going to play baseball or
something like that.
Okay,
yeah, gotcha. And I don't know if they eventually just traded the pick to Denver or how that worked out, but yeah. Or if he was technically drafted and then traded. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe they did. Yeah.
Well,
and I think they actually moved to Indy that year after
that John Elway
that draft. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy to think that they could? I think we talked about this before. They could have had John Elway, and then later on down the pipe they could have had Peyton Manning, and then Andrew Luck, who obviously wasn't there for a long time.
Yeah,
but it's just
a lot of.
And then now they have your boy Anthony Richardson.
Next legend.
They're hoping.
I'm thinking Daniel Jones is the next legend.
God. Hey, he's won a playoff game.
Yes. He sure has.
You can't knock him for that. No. Dude has won a playoff game. But nonetheless, R.I.P. Jim Irsay. Yep. I don't know if you want to take a shot for Jim. We don't have to.
Take a little halfie.
Okay. Usually we take shots for...
He would probably like some Di Serrano.
I mean, like you said, the dude partied. But halfies are okay. Okay.
Oh, shit. Spillage.
Yeah. So right now this game is 69-34 Oklahoma City.
Cheers to OKC score.
And cheers to Jim. Oh man. Yeah, it is sweet.
Yeah, it's got some candy.
Not a lot of bite though, which I appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
This is the stuff that we've tried with Corona, and it tastes like Dr. Pepper.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot we had it on the show before. Yeah. But didn't I have just like the little shooters, or somebody had little shooters of them? That's what we used.
Did we have that bag of shooters?
Yeah, I think they were. It was.
Remember that bag?
That was amazing. How did we acquire that? I forget.
Oh man, the bag of shooters, was that from Dev? No.
It was from my Thanksgiving when my family was here, and we bought a bunch of shooters to make cocktails with.
Yeah, you like.
And then we had a shit ton left over.
Yeah, okay.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
that's funny. I totally forgot about that.
Worst shots in that pile. I think there was a like a tahine shot.
The tamarind is what it is. That was my least favorite too.
No, I think that one was bad, but my least favorite, and it makes me gag every time I see it, is the Pink Whitney.
The Pink Whitney was bad.
Pink Whitney, New Amsterdam.
Was it Pink Whitney or was it Pink Lemonade Smirnoff? Or did we have both? We might have both.
I think we had Pink Whitney in there because I think it's the only time I've ever had it.
Yeah, that shit's gross.
It's not good.
No.
Not good at all.
All right, time for the news.
Yes.
Giants update. Tigers just finished off a sweep with the Giants earlier today. 4-3 victory for them. Rough one because the Giants were up 3-0 midway through the game and had a really rough fifth inning that the Tigers scored all those 4 runs in. Just couldn't muster up any more offense after that, which has kind of been the story of the last couple weeks.
What I've learned recently, really recently, is the Tigers have the best record in the American League.
The Tigers are cooking. They might have the best record. Maybe they're really close to Philadelphia, if not above Philadelphia right now. Gotcha. Yeah. For best record in the league.
And with the Giants, hard to win games and you're not getting a lot of hits because you're not getting a lot of hits. You're probably not getting a lot of runs.
Right.
That's exactly what's going on.
Right. The whole lineup is struggling with the exception of like Ramos. Chapman had a good game today too, but yeah, it's just been slim pickings on offense for the Giants. They are still 12-13 in May. I will say that's not that bad. Good teams have 500 stretches.
Yeah.
And we're right there. So
when you play 162, it's just going to happen.
Yeah, you gotta just push through. And the fact that in the last 11 games they haven't scored more than 4 runs, and they've still won 5 of those 11 games. So the fact that they're grinding out some W's even when the offense is not working, it's a good sign. But they definitely gotta get the bats rolling.
And they're still 31-25 overall.
31-25 overall. Only 3 games back of the Dodgers, who are first in the West.
And I think the way the Giants are playing right now is kind of how we probably expected them to be the entire season.
Yeah, more or less.
So the Giants started out really well, and it was great. And I think for me, I'll speak for myself, I was kind of thinking, when's the dip going to happen?
Yeah.
And dips are probably going to happen more than once, because this is definitely what I would say is a dip.
Right.
Probably happen maybe once or twice. Hopefully not, but how baseball is.
Right. Well, it is funny how a hot start can change expectations really quickly, which is great. That's what everybody wants, right?
Yeah.
They want to change expectations to something more than they thought. But yeah, I think realistically, being 6 games over 500 at this point of the season, about a third of the way through, can't complain. No. Bright spots though. Wilmer Flores had a 3 home run game against the A's a couple weeks ago. That was pretty impressive. He had a grand slam, then a 3-run, 2 innings later, and then a 2-run bomb late in the game.
That's a hell of a day.
That's an insane day.
That's a hell of a day.
Yeah. Also, Robbie Ray has been awesome in May. 5 starts in the month, and he's got a 1.41 ERA. So far, he's got 1 more start.
Going back to Wilmer.
Saturday.
Going back to Wilmer.
Yeah.
Has he been on the Giants for about 7 years now?
Longer than I thought. I believe this is his 6th year.
6th year.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that, and I was like, wow, he's been on the team for that long already?
Yeah.
It just, time flies. And you don't really think about it. See, to me, he still seems like a new Giant, but he's like one of the probably longer tenure Giants.
It's hilarious because my dad asked me the same thing. He's like, what's Wilmer been on the Giants now for? 7, 8 years? I'm like, you're not even close. I literally thought it was since 2021 because I remember he was on that team that was surprisingly really good.
He was on the check swing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and for some reason I felt like that was maybe his second year at most, but he joined the team I think in 2019.
I heard that and I was like, wow, it's been that long already.
Yeah, is that crazy?
He's going to go down as a pretty damn good Giant, I think. Or it's
he's had his ups and downs.
Like a fan favorite.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely not been a sore.
He's probably been on the Giants longer than he was on the Mets.
He has, yeah.
So it's
honestly, and now that I'm thinking about it, this might be year number 7 for him. Let's see.
He's gonna be one of those forever Giants. There's always people joke about them being forever Giants, AJ Brzezinski, forever Giant, that kind of thing. He's gonna be a forever Giant.
So this is year 6. He joined the team in the COVID shortened season.
And how long has he played?
He played 6 years for the Mets also. Okay. So yeah, he just matched it this year.
He's not gonna be. He probably won't even be a Wall of Famer or anything.
No.
But he'll still be a good Giant.
Yeah,
I'd rock a Wilmer Flores jersey.
Yeah. 2020 he was pretty solid. 2021 he was good. 2023 he was good. Last year, I guess the reports were that he was not playing healthy, or playing through injury or whatever. Yeah. And he had a really rough season, but he's been fucking Mr. RBI so far this year.
You can't beat that.
Yeah.
Because going back to wearing jerseys, it's hard because the Giants right now, it feels like what jersey would you wear? Probably I would say the safest one would probably be Logan Webb.
I know, and that number is just ass.
It's ass.
It's really ass.
After that, I'd probably go, like, personally, maybe Patrick Bailey.
Okay.
All I know, Patrick Bailey is not hitting the ball well, but
he can't hit for shit.
But his glove is
he's a stud.
Is really nice.
I think Chapman's in the
yeah.
Now that he's signed the contract too, I think
Yeah.
it's a safe one to go for.
I would also maybe go Jung-Hoo Lee.
Jung-Hoo would be a cool one. Ramos is getting to that point too, where he seems like a steady guy.
Yeah.
He's having a good season so far.
I saw a guy brag at Bottle Rock rocking a Jung-Hoo Lee jersey. It was the new City Connect, and it had Jung-Hoo Lee's name in the.
Oh, in like the Asian script,
yes,
whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
exactly. I don't know.
Korean script.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, that's a badass jersey.
Yeah.
So thanks.
No, yeah, those ones with the Korean is pretty cool.
Well, because like obviously he doesn't wear those during the games, so
Yeah.
like you can probably like obviously the Giants sell them though.
Yeah.
Or maybe not like they probably do online, but maybe not. At, like the clubhouse. Or
Well, you know what? I saw
store.
one when we went to a game last year. I think we were all together, and I saw one that had that on the jersey. I think it was just like a specialty jersey or whatever. But
I'd want to get one of those with the Korean writing on the back, and someone would be like, "Oh, nice Jung-Hoo Lee jersey." I'm like, "Nah, dude, Randy Johnson, Randy Johnson, bro,
you're fucking stupid.
Forever Giant, Randy Johnson, 300 win with the Giants, Randy Johnson. Don't forget."
So Giants are heading to Miami this weekend to wrap up the road trip.
Okay.
Could be good time to
get right.
Get right. Yeah. I mean, the Marlins are not as bad as they have been in recent seasons, but they're still the Marlins, and it's time to pounce, make up some ground after a rough time in Detroit. Yeah, it's honestly crazy how good the Tigers are. I know they snuck into the playoffs last year.
Well, they ended last year really hot.
Yeah,
right?
super hot.
Season.
Yeah.
Well, and I just sorry, but I don't watch Detroit Tigers baseball.
No. And I don't think their fans do either. The crowds were so bad this week. Every time I was watching the game, I'm like, where the fuck are their fans? They're so good.
Well, yeah, I think today the game here was at 10 in the morning. So it's 1 o'clock there.
Right.
Do you expect fans to be there at 1 o'clock on a Wednesday?
Not necessarily.
That's a tough pull.
Yeah. But even on like the holiday on Monday, there was nobody there. And then last night I get it's a Tuesday.
I'd like to know the weekend numbers for the Tigers because
they're probably better.
Because I know didn't the Giants supposedly have like 100 like however many
those definitely
whatever.
were
Probably
fabricated.
Real, but like I don't expect people who earn their money to go to games every day of the week. I just don't think that's especially if you got a family and you probably do.
Right.
Do you want to really go to a game on a Tuesday night when your kids got school in the morning,
right?
When it's a late game, especially Giants games, because they start at 7, they probably end at like 9:30 now because of the pitch clock. But still, it's like you gotta. No, you probably live out of town.
And let's be honest, the Giants fans aren't great on Tuesday nights.
No, got to hit a couple tolls on the way back, depending on where you live. It's just tough.
Yeah. Now baseball is a dying interest, unfortunately.
You think it's even that?
I think it is overall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think stadiums used to be much more full on average.
Well, fuck, man. When they're charging you an arm and a leg literally for drinks and food, it's like it's just even worth it.
Yeah.
And I know, can't you? Which I never utilize this, but you can bring food into the stadium, can't you? Obviously,
I think at Oracle Park you can.
You can't bring booze, obviously.
Yeah.
But you can bring food, I think, which I never think about doing.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot to consider if you're being realistic.
Because if you're going to a game, it's like what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
You're going to spend $10 on a pretzel.
I don't really mind the concession prices so much. I just think it should be, especially when you're talking about those Monday, Tuesday night games, they should be half the price of what they are to get inside the stadium. Like honestly, every seat in the upper level should be $1. Why the fuck not?
Like during the week?
During the week, yeah.
Yeah, weekend games, I understand, make everything regular price.
Yeah.
Because that's when most people are going to be there.
But why don't you want to, isn't it I know the people that run the ticket operations have their calculators and, this is what's going to get the most, revenue or whatever. But isn't it, aesthetically pleasing to see a full house no matter what day of the week it is?
Yeah.
Right?
Because you could catch a couple, people who are in a relationship and they're like, it's a Wednesday night. They're like, hey, I kind of want to go to a ball game. and they live in the city, so it's
Right.
a little more
Yeah.
convenient. And they're like, oh, we can, they're $1 tickets. So let's just go. We'll sit up there. Maybe walk.
Seriously.
You can sit up there, maybe just walk around the entire time.
Yeah.
Or like sit and or
Just to get in the yard.
standing room only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that would make your $18 beer a lot more.
I think you're completely right.
Yeah.
Because I'd feel better about spending money on an $18 beer if my ticket was $1 rather than like spending $30.
Yeah, exactly.
But baseball. I mean, it's a business, and every business is gonna try to pull in all the kind of money they can. I get
100%. Yeah.
Because they have to make revenue. They have to pay the players, and they're
Right.
giving out these ridiculous contracts.
Right.
But it's not a bad idea. It's something. I mean,
I think
that's probably what the A's should have done.
there's some teams that should try it out.
Maybe do one day a week. Do $1 Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Or $1 tickets for the upper level.
they figure out what's their worst selling day of the week, and they choose that as their Tuesday.
Because even if you sell a ticket for $1, you got to think they're still going to buy the concessions, which is still going to bring in a lot of money.
Your chances of selling concessions are higher too if you're getting more people in the building.
Right,
Yeah.
It sounds like we should work for the Giants. That's all I'm saying.
It just needs to be a more fan-friendly operation.
Yeah,
it's just not at all. It's just all about making money.
I'm tired of sporting events in general. Like NFL, I understand. There's only.
I don't need to go to a football. I don't need to pay the prices for a football game ever again.
Honestly. But if they were more affordable, I would love to be able to go to like a Cowboy Niner game in Santa Clara. But it's just not.
I'm not paying $500 just to have a OKC.
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. like
this is
these sports
yeah.
work because of the fans. If there was no fans, none of these sports.
Yep.
None of these sports would be as popular as they are. Sorry to the WNBA, but you're not as popular as all these other ones because fans don't go to the games.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they've built popularity and they've earned what they have, but also remember how you got up there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
And that's my crash out of the day.
Best supposed to give us a call.
Seriously. And it's like I know these guys, and I know it's easy for us to say. We're in a bedroom talking about sports right now.
And we just want to go to more ball games.
We just want to go to more ball games, man. Because if the ticket's $1 for a Giants game, I feel better about the gas there and back, the tolls, the food.
Yeah,
it just makes sense.
Yep. And I'll say this:
I might even buy a jersey inside. Probably not, but I'd be like, hey, we paid $1 for the ticket.
Might be more likely.
I'm just saying, maybe a hat, maybe a hoodie.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna happen.
No.
Maybe it will. Who knows?
Even like,
how about we all just, as a collective, stop going to games?
I mean, I have no interest in going to a Niners or a Warriors game. Not for the cost and the fact that like, no matter where I sit, it's not going to be as good of a view as what I'm watching on the TV right now.
That's fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially with football.
Yeah. I mean, would I love to go to a Cowboy game like in Arlington? Of course, but it's like the plane ticket, the ticket to get in, the hotel. I could probably stay at James's place, but that's neither here nor there.
But yeah, even
going
let's say that wasn't an option.
Yeah, even going to like a Kings game, I want to go see the Kings at that arena. I really do. And they might not be as expensive as Chase Center tickets.
But you're probably sitting, talking $100+ just sitting the lower level.
Yeah, which is that's a lot.
It's still a lot of money.
That's not something I want to pay for. Want to pay for a game in
in November. Yeah,
it's
seriously.
Like,
yeah.
But whatever.
All right, moving on. 49ers. They extended both Brock Purdy and Fred Warner. Purdy getting 5 years, $265 million with $182.5 guaranteed. 7th highest average annual value contract in the NFL. All of those are quarterbacks above him, of course. That is according to Spot Track. I thought I heard that was 9th, but regardless, that's what the list said. It said 7. Anyways, Fred getting 3 years, $63 million, $56 million guaranteed. Highest paid linebacker in the NFL, which I think is deserved. I mean, he should at least be up there, if not number one.
I talk my shit about Fred Warner, but he's a stud.
He's a dog.
Absolute stud.
He's a dog for sure. I don't think any Niner fan is upset about this contract or Kittle's.
No.
Given what they've done and what they still can project. Purdy's obviously
that Brock Purdy one.
It's definitely controversial.
I don't know if Nick listens, but we almost had to talk him off the ledge.
I got good news, Niner fans. I did some digging.
Yeah.
So I watched this little video of his contract breakdown, and supposedly the Niners can get out of this contract after 2 seasons without much damage.
Okay.
So if he's not what we want after 2 years, cut bait, and it's not a problem.
Okay.
Which I'm okay with committing 2 more seasons to Brock Purdy to see what he's got.
Hey, why not? You know, I gotta say, for Brock Purdy, it's an awesome story. We all know it. The last pick of the draft, 262, and the fact that he has done what he's done, and yeah, I know the Shanahan system helps a lot of quarterbacks, yada yada, whatever. Brock Purdy still has to sling the football to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, he's still the one getting the ball under center. He still has to, say the plays. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a lot of money, but this isn't the Dak Prescott contract. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I mean, like we're looking at number 7. It's not number 1, not number 2, number 7.
So you could complain and what you guys want, maybe not you, but other fans wanted Brock Purdy to get $30 million. Like, that wasn't going to happen.
That was never going to happen.
Not going to happen. Not even 40. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like,
if he took 45,
in today's NFL, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, if he took 45, we'd all be like, "Oh, wow, that's actually kind of a nice little hometown discount." Yeah. But that's only $8 million per year less than what he's getting.
Yeah.
So are we really going to cry about that $8 million? No. Come on.
So 182 guaranteed. That's if I'm Brock Purdy, I'm happy about.
Yeah, dude, he got a $40 million signing bonus. Think about that. Mm-hmm. I think his career earnings up to this point is like just shy of $3 million or something like that. He basically multiplied his career earnings by like 15 in one day.
That's insane. Well, plus he has the sponsorships by Ariat, and he also has
he's made other money, yeah, but just based on pure salary.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's insane to think.
So what is your you can give me the short version of this contract and with Brock Purdy.
I think knowing now that it's really at minimum, but also doesn't need to be any more than 2 years of a guarantee, so to speak, I'm okay with it. I think just listening to the raw numbers of $265 million over 5 years, that seems crazy, and I understand why a lot of Niner fans are a little turned off by that, based on what happened last year. But I think if the Niners get healthy, there's a real good shot that they can bounce back, and he can have a bounce back season as well. He can learn from his mistakes. Get in the film room, as your boy Dak Prescott needs to.
Dude, he better be in there right now. Like, is he throwing a football through a tire right now or something? Yeah. I need something right now. What time is it in Arlington? 9 o'clock. He's probably putting his kid to bed, whatever. But I need you to start watching this film, bro.
He's probably playing Madden.
We got Eagles week 1. Pay attention. Pay attention, okay? What was I just gonna say? I had something good. I lost it. Thanks.
It'll come back to you. But no, I'm not surprised, and I don't all the Niner fans that are freaking out about it. It's like, are you really shocked that this happened? Come on, be realistic.
This man, and I know you guys didn't win. I'm not trying to rub it in. This man did have the lead in the Super Bowl
against Patrick Mahomes.
And yes, you guys didn't win, but I think he's the first quarterback in NFL history to have the lead in the Super Bowl and not win the game.
Oh, in overtime,
yes. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, he was. And I know.
I mean, it sucks.
I know it's horseshoes and hand grenades, but I mean, he was as close as you can get.
Yeah.
And if he would have won that game, no one would care about this contract.
No.
And I know it's a lot of ifs.
Yep.
A lot of ifs. But I don't think Brock Purdy is as bad as people are making this contract seem.
He's not bad. He's not one of those top 5 quarterbacks, but he's not bad, obviously. So I do think they can still work around this contract and build a competent roster that can compete. It's just going to be on now. It's a lot more on the coaching staff and John Lynch in nailing draft picks and developing those players. Some of those guys that were first year players last year, they got to step up. I mean, Ricky Pearsall being one for sure that needs to step up. Even Garendo is going to have to take another step, I think, because you can't really rely on McCaffrey every down going forward.
I mean, hopefully you can, but it's you can't expect that.
Yeah, you got to be realistic about
Coming off another injury for him.
And God help me, but Shanahan, please don't run him into the ground, like he has in the past.
Yeah.
And then they need to hit on some of this year's draft picks and going forward. So simple as that to me. All right, time for Would You Rather.
Yes. So
what do you got for me?
We're doing a little in honor of Brock Purdy getting this contract. We're doing a very low-hanging fruit. Not the first people to do this probably in the past week to do a Would you rather have this quarterback or Brock Purdy or this quarterback? And so what I did for you is I'm going to give you 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We'll try to shoot it pretty quick.
Shoot it.
Because I'm not going to give you the obvious ones that you would pick over him. I try my best to give you ones that you might have to actually think about.
Okay.
And then after this, you can kind of tell me which ones you think I missed and which ones you might still pick over, who aren't like the top 4 that we all know.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so number 1, I'm going to go with Cam Ward of the Titans.
So, do you want me to consider everything, including contract, or just the player and his future?
I'm going to go just the player as is.
Give me Brock.
Okay. I'm going to go, number 2, I'm going to go Caleb Williams of the Bears.
And also, is it just for this season?
I guess I didn't think that through.
Because I think that is kind of important.
I'll say, okay.
Or like the foreseeable future? Do you want to go
we'll
that
say
far?
that, yes.
Foreseeable future?
Like as your starting quarterback going forward.
So Caleb Williams. With Shanahan, I'll go Caleb.
Okay. 3, I'm Trevor Lawrence of the Jags.
Give me Brock.
Okay. 4, I'm going to go Baker Mayfield of the Buccaneers.
This is the one that's like the most interesting comp, I think.
I don't think I'm much of a Baker believer personally.
But I think I actually might go Baker.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Kyler Murray of the Cardinals, number 5.
That's an interesting one. Kyler could be fun to watch in the Niners offense, but I think I'll go Brock.
Okay. My boy Dak Prescott of the Cowboys.
Brock.
7, I'm going to go Jared Goff of the Lions.
I'm going to go Brock because I like his edge and mobility.
Okay.
Yeah.
8, I'm going to go Justin Herbert of the Chargers.
I'm on the fence on Herbert because I do like him and his talent, but I think I'll go Brock.
Okay. 9, I'm going to go Jordan Love of the Packers.
Another similar one to Herbert. Ooh, that's a hard screen. Sorry. Jordan Love. Give me Brock.
Last one, I think I know this one's going to go, but I'm going to say Jaden Daniels of the Commanders.
Give me Jaden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's other quarterbacks that I kind of missed. I almost gave you Tua, but I thought you would pick Brock over Tua.
Yeah.
I know,
they're close.
Yeah, because... Yeah, I guess Sam Darnold, I know you probably wouldn't pick over.
I'm surprised you didn't do like Lamar Jackson.
No. So like on Pro Football Focus, they rank Geno Smith higher than Brock Purdy, which I think is ridiculous.
And what is their ranking?
10 and Brock's 11.
Geno's 10?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And I wasn't even gonna give you Geno Smith.
Well, he didn't write back, so.
But you wouldn't pick Geno Smith over Brock.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Get the fuck out of here.
Another one I thought about giving you was Matt Stafford. But
I'd take Stafford.
Take Stafford, yeah. And then that was pretty much it. I kind of wanted to throw you Jalen Hurts, although I know he's fresh off the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, I'd have to go Jalen, I think.
Okay. And obviously the top 4 is in no particular order. Or in Pro Football Focus's order, they have Josh Allen 4, Lamar Jackson 3, Joe Burrow 2, Patrick Mahomes 1. So I tried to give you ones I thought were...
No, that was good.
Yeah. And did you pay attention to how many you picked over Brock? Like 3?
It was. I would say it was at least 3. Yeah, if not
you picked
4 or 5.
Caleb, Baker... Did you pick Kyler?
No.
No? You're not Shanahan's offense?
No, I said I thought it'd be interesting, but I stuck with Brock.
So you went Caleb Baker and you went Jaden Daniels, which I
was
thought,
that it? Okay.
I think so, which was the
Yeah.
kind of the layup I thought.
Yeah, a lot of them I think it would be a neutral move, and I guess just planting that guy in Shanahan's offense wouldn't be a bonus.
Yeah.
All right, NBA news. SGA, he won the MVP, and he's about to go to the finals.
Congrats.
Looking to be one of not many guys that have won NBA MVP and the finals in the same season. Sometimes it can be a curse.
Yeah, who's the last guy who did it? Probably LeBron, 2012.
Well, Steph.
Okay, so MVP and...
Not finals MVP, just win the finals.
And league MVP.
Right.
Okay, so Steph did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, twice.
Right?
No, once.
No, just once.
Yeah,
yeah, just once.
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've been trying to dig.
I guess because Jokic did not win MVP the year they won the championship,
okay.
Which was interesting. It was his one-off year that they just decided to give it to that one clown.
Which looks really bad right now.
Yeah,
hey,
right.
Whatever. I'm not a voter.
Right. Yeah, I think Steph's the last one. Right?
Yeah, I'd probably take a guess it's going to be SGA.
Yeah. Draft lottery. Mavs won the draft lottery, which was interesting, being the 11th, having the 11th best odds.
1%, like a 1% chance.
Yeah, 1.8% chance, I believe it was. Spurs are going to pick second. They jumped up quite a bit as well, and then Sixers are going third.
God, they were that close to getting to Spurs getting Cooper Flag with Wemby and De'Aaron Fox.
Would have been sick.
And then Giannis would have came.
Yeah, have all of them.
Actually, no, probably not, because I keep forgetting that Giannis needs to get traded. And so, like, what would the Spurs give him that they don't want to keep themselves?
Right.
Because we were talking about Giannis coming for the second pick. Like, the Spurs can offer that,
right.
Like, including other players. I would think in more picks in the
Spurs. The Spurs have some interesting leverage on their hands. I mean, they have De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, two really good guards, and then they have the second pick, who I believe the second highest rated player is a point guard. I'm forgetting his name. The guy from Rutgers.
Okay.
So there's a lot of options there for them.
Yeah.
Whatever they may choose.
But the Mavs, like, what do you think of the whole, I know this is a few weeks ago now, but the whole conspiracy that Adam Silver kind of threw him a bone after the Luka trade, this and that. It just obviously
it's very ironic.
It looks funky.
It's very ironic.
It kind of stinks.
Yeah.
It smells.
Yeah.
It's fishy.
But I have heard points, it's like, why would you want to reward a guy who made a very questionable move in your league? It would be like if someone made a shitty trade in fantasy football and then you're like, oh, but I'm going to give you the first pick of the draft next year.
And also, Adam Silver, don't think he could have vetoed that trade.
Sure, yeah.
He really felt like it was.
Sure.
It's just funny how things work, and it just.
Yeah. No, it is definitely ironic.
You're telling me they have a 1% chance and some change, and they get Cooper Flag.
Right.
And he's going to be able to play with Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, and Klay Thompson, which I know is funny because all three of those guys are either injured or past their prime or both.
And NBA champions.
And all NBA champions. So it'd be kind of fun to see. I mean, I'm excited for it because I'd rather see him play for an organization like the Mavericks rather than him go to...
Yeah, like Washington or Charlotte would have been shitty, yeah.
I mean, I guess him and LaMelo Ball would have been interesting to see.
Yeah.
But the Wizards, who plays for them?
Jordan Poole, baby. Pool party.
Is it Reese Sachet?
Oh, yeah, Zachary Reese Sachet.
Yeah.
El Frenchie.
Yeah, and your Sixers, third pick.
Another one that, I mean, I know they had a bad year, but they definitely moved up in the odds, which is interesting. But yeah, I think Cooper Flag's going to be an interesting prospect. I don't know what's going to happen with him. He's obviously very exciting, but we haven't seen white boys ball like that before.
People say he's really polished and he's going to he's going to struggle, but they make it seem like he's going to be able to. Probably going to be a pretty season, so we'll see about that.
All right, it's beer time.
Beer time, ooh.
Do you want a space dust or a phase dust? That's all we had. And then a couple Coors Lights to finish off the evening.
Oh, man. I mean, I'll go with the space dust.
Okay, good, because I wanted this one.
Okay,
I had one of those last night. I just wasn't digging it.
Yeah.
It could have just been the mood I was in.
Legion, your dad likes to put himself to sleep.
Oh, yeah, he loves those.
I mean, I do too.
Those face melters.
Don't get me wrong. But for a man who gets up really early for work, I'm impressed.
He puts away IPAs like it's fucking water.
Like it's water, man. Love that for him.
All right, so I'm drinking Phase Dust, which is an Imperial Hazy IPA.
Have you had it?
I've never had it. I'm not excited about it. Terribly.
You can have this one. It's okay.
8.2%. No, I don't want that one because I had it yesterday.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. What is this? This is a...
Like 7? 6.8? Something like that?
8.2.
No, it's not. Is it?
Yeah. This is 8.2 alcohol / volume.
Shut the fuck up. Really?
It says right there.
Jesus Christ. I did not know that.
What's that?
This is also 8.2.
Yeah. Cheers. I do want to try that after this, though. Oh, Devin would hate this beer.
This is not hazy at all. It just tastes like an IPA. I mean, it's not bad. It has a little bit of like... Actually, it's not bad. It has a little bit of like tropical bouncing notes to it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That one's just like... Because You know what it reminds me of is Racer 5, and last time I had a Racer 5, I wasn't really digging it. It's just like really
earthy.
Yeah, and just like kind of syrupy almost. Yeah.
I do like Racer 5s, but I know exactly. Your dad likes Racer 5s too.
And it's kind of in the same realm as like Lagunitas IPA, which I don't really dig anymore.
Okay. Yeah. I had a couple of those over the weekend, and they still hit.
Yeah.
They're still pretty good.
I haven't had one in a long time, but
Tall boys.
It's kind of similar. The last time I had one, I just wasn't really feeling it. All right. Stanley Cup Playoffs. Let's actually flip back here real quick to see where we're at.
Yeah, we don't need to finish this game.
Yeah, this game's cooked.
By any means.
All right, what do we got? We got a 3-3 game. 10 minutes left.
10.5 in the third. Yeah, we're keeping this game on.
Yeah, definitely. So, both coming into today anyways, both conference final series tied 3-1. Florida looking to close out Carolina tonight like we're watching right now. On the other side, actually, we'll stay here. First 3 games of this series, Florida outscored Carolina 16-4.
Damn.
That is absolutely dominant. Carolina was, of course, able to extend the series with a 3-0 win in Game 4 a couple nights ago, and that's where we're at right now. But yeah, I mean, Florida is in dynasty mode right now. They may not win the whole thing this year, but they're kind of like.
But here's the thing, though, is like so. Like you said, they're on the verge of going to their third straight, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
But if they lost the first one, won the middle one, and then lost the third one, like that's not to me. It's not a dynasty.
I get what you're saying, but I think as far as hockey terms is like it's like almost as close as you can get. I know you got to win probably more than one to really establish yourself as a dynasty, but they're just like in that phase as a franchise where they have the guys and they. Doesn't matter how good of a regular season they have, they're going to be in the mix.
And had they been in the Stanley Cup prior to the 2 years ago for the first time? Do we know?
They'd gone back in like the 90s.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and lost, I believe, to Colorado.
Okay.
But yeah, they're looking good. On the other side, Edmonton, the team they beat last year, like we talked about, they're looking to wrap things up in Game 5 in Dallas tomorrow. Oilers have won 3 straight after dropping Game 1 of that series.
Kind of seems like McDavid's out for blood.
Yeah, he's ready. And I mean, they've absolutely shut the Stars down, giving up just 2 goals in those 3 games, which is also insane. It's going to be. I do hope the rematch happens, assuming it will.
Because they were down 3-0 last year, and they forced a game,
which is it's crazy.
I remember we were doing the podcast over at Garrett's, and I think it was during Game 3 and after Game 3 ended.
Was that when it was?
And I think it was. We were like, oh man, the series is over.
I was going to say it was either that or Game 4, but I think you're right. It was Game 3.
We're like, oh, it's over. Then they actually forced a Game 7 to do it. Like they got a chance now.
And that game, I don't remember how that Game 7 went, but I feel like it was a tight game, if I'm not mistaken.
Because if you're Florida in that situation, you're like, dude, if we blow this, it's like an all-time. Right?
Yeah, right.
And if you're Edmonton, you're like, dude, we're going to be going down in the history books.
Right.
And then you lose the Game 7, you're like, man, that's a tough way to go. Like, you win 3, you're like, man, we have all the momentum. And then you lose. But yeah, I'm really hoping for.
Yeah.
And like I said, just realize that it's probably going to happen again, which is great. It's awesome.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, I think McDavid's in his Sidney Crosby mode.
And I don't think he needs a ring, but it certainly would help his legacy.
I think he does kind of need it. I think he does because
he's already a Hall of Famer though.
Yeah, for sure he will be. But I think. We're in the social media era where everyone wants you to win a ring. Like, that's all that matters, you know?
Because look at Ovechkin. I mean, now he's the all-time
His legacy was saved, I think, by that cup.
Yeah. You think even if he had the goals record?
If he had the goals record, he would be an all-time player, but I think it really, put him in maybe that top 10 of all-time category. Yeah. So, and I don't think he'd be there.
Yeah, obviously, rings matter.
Yeah.
They do. I mean, in any sport.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
I guess baseball's a little.
Baseball's
different.
the least important.
Yeah, because you got someone like Mike Trout who, obviously he's hurt a lot now, but back when he was, reeling off MVPs like it was nothing and finishing second like it was nothing. Like he's gonna go down as like an all-time player.
Right.
And then you got guys like Jeter who are like obviously have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
5 rings, 3,000 hits.
I mean, Barry Bonds never won a championship. I know he's got the steroid thing.
Willie Mays won 1.
Yeah, exactly. Won 1. I feel like there's an all-timer that never won 1.
Ken Griffey
never won 1.
Griffey,
I think with baseball, I mean, you got a 25-man roster. You got, you're only playing one side of the ball. Well, not really, but kind of.
Yeah.
You can only have so much impact as an individual in baseball. All right, moving on to the greatest day in motorsports, which happened on Sunday. It started with the Monaco Grand Prix F1. Lando Norris got the W there in what is widely considered the most boring race on the F1 schedule, which is unfortunate that it's one of those in Monaco. So.
There we go. Also, Ted Williams never won a World Series.
There you go.
So, or Mike Piazza.
Yeah.
Just
looking at Hall of Famers for that one.
I mean, players that never won World Series, but
gotcha.
Tony Gwynn.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways,
yeah, a lot of great players that never won. The second race of the greatest day in motorsports was the Indy 500, where 3-time Indy champ Alex Palou got his first Indy 500 win of his career, which is pretty cool for him.
It's a nice little notch for the legacy for him, I'm sure.
He was. They had him on First Things First yesterday. He seemed like a pretty cool guy.
I did see that they were there.
Yeah.
Weren't they? I wonder what made them want to.
So Fox took over the broadcasting rights for at least part of, or maybe all of the IndyCar series this year, and I think they probably were like, we need one of our shows to cover this.
I think it'd be cool to go to the Indy 500.
I think it's one of those. It's kind of in the Kentucky Derby,
Daytona
500 range of
sure.
like spectacle events.
So I know when I saw Indy at Sonoma,
oh, that's right,
8 years ago.
I forgot they were going there.
They were fucking. I remember being down at the stretch.
Those cars go so fast.
They're fast.
At Indianapolis Motor Speedway, they go like almost 240.
Yeah,
it's insane.
That's fast.
It's fucking
how fast do F1 cars go?
They don't even go 200 anymore. I don't think. Maybe 200.
Indy cars go 240.
That's fucking
God.
sick. Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah,
I always just assumed that F1 cars go faster than any other car when it comes to
No, they have the best handling for sure. Yeah,
240 is dumb.
Dude, it's crazy.
That's insane.
Well, and so when Jimmy Johnson tried to go do IndyCar, he couldn't race the Indy 500 because he couldn't handle the G forces.
He was He's like he's probably at a point where he's going so slow he's endangering other people.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, he never raced on the ovals because he couldn't handle it. He only raced the road courses.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. 240.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. Last but not least was the Coke 600. Ross Chastain got the W there in Charlotte after starting last, which is fucking wild.
That's impressive.
Right?
That's impressive.
William Byron, he won all 3 stages, but ended up just finishing second. Your boy Kyle Larson, he tried the double once again for second straight year.
You gotta give it to him for trying.
I love the effort, and I want him to, or somebody to complete it at some point. Tony Stewart's the only one who's ever done it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been many who've tried, but never. But I think he's the only one to finish both races.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, of course, Kyle, he crashed out in lap 91 of the Indy 500, and then crashed out of the Coke 600 on lap 246, which sucks.
How come when Kyle Larson loses or crashes out, you got to mention it?
Well, it's more about the fact that he tried it.
Okay.
But yeah.
I mean, Kyle, I gotta say, I'm calling you the best driver in the world, and you kind of proved me wrong.
Put you on the spotlight, and you're crashing out of races like
all of a sudden,
right?
All of a sudden, I got people that I know buying shirts with your face on it. It's like, come on, you're becoming a joke now. But no, he's putting my NASCAR team on his back.
Yeah, no, he's having a good year.
I'm doing
for sure.
I'm doing okay. I'm confident to say Kyle Larson is one of the best drivers.
Oh yes,
in the world. Well, I still say he's the best, of course, because
I'd love to see him go race F1.
I mean, he probably wouldn't finish.
No, just go actually try and be a driver in the series.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Not just to do a race. But
and I know Max Verstappen's not like the best guy this year in F1,
but he's one of the best.
Yeah.
And
I feel like the joke is it's like him or Max,
right?
Because that's what it was last year. You know
right.
what I mean? So, but I think I was telling Dev before even really thinking about it. I was like, man, that's a pretty good day for like racing, which is
no, it is widely considered as the big day in motorsports, whatever, greatest day. All right. Finishing out the news, we got Champions League. PSG is going to play Inter Miami on Saturday for the Champions League final.
You gonna watch?
I'm fucking watching, dude.
Where are you guys gonna be at? Do you think? Because I think I might be able to pull, maybe watching some of it with you guys. I'm not gonna promise anything, but I get off at somewhere like in 2:45 range.
Well, the game starts at
12:45.
12:45. Okay. Oh, you get off?
Or I'm on lunch
for lunch. Gotcha.
For an hour.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that'd be second half then, because the game starts at noon. We went to Barnhouse last time. Me and Sal did for the game semifinal. So I think we might do that again. I'll have to talk to him. We'll talk about it in the chat.
Yes,
yeah,
we'll talk about it.
That'd be awesome if you could.
It would be kind of cool if I could. I'm not probably gonna be able to finish it.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Do you have any like wiggle room on when you can leave for break? Or is it basically always 12:45?
I mean, I could probably. What I could do is like switch somebody else and go on 11:45 and then.
Gotcha. I was thinking more of like go as late as possible.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so you can see the finish.
Latest I could probably go to lunch is like a little before. Like, I think technically I'm supposed to go later than 1.
Gotcha.
Probably could.
Gotcha.
But neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Because if you guys aren't like very far away, I could just pull up and
pull it.
Have a water.
Have a water. I was surprised to see that PSG is the betting favorite in this game. They're at plus 120 to Inter's plus 235, with a draw being at plus 225. I mean, Inter Milan went to the final 2 years ago, and I think they had a lot of returning guys from that team. Yeah. They lost, of course, that year, but yeah, I think I'm excited for it. That's all I can say.
Where is the game played?
This game is being played in Munich,
and is
Germany.
It always...
They move it around Europe, yeah.
But is it usually a neutral site, or is there?
It's always a neutral site, yeah.
But so it's not possible for a team who makes it to play at their own home field, although they. I think it is.
I think it is possible. I don't know if they. I would guess they probably choose sites that are maybe not home stadiums of a team. Like maybe they're like the home stadium of like the national team in that country.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
That's fun though. That's cool.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be exciting. Other news, I know Sal just jumped on the bandwagon of Tottenham, so I got to mention this. They're going to Champions League next year. They beat Manchester United in the Europa League final last Wednesday.
It's fun.
Yeah.
What made him want to go to Tottenham or on Tottenham side?
Well, he was trying to pick a English club to jump on the wagon for. Yeah, and he chose Spurs.
Well, he's getting too bored with his
with Real Madrid. Yeah,
Real Madrid.
It's like, oh, they lost this year. Got to find something new. It's hilarious though because Tottenham and Manchester United, for that matter, both had terrible seasons in the Premier League, but they happen to be playing in this cup final that earned them a spot in the Champions League. So
does it feel good? When did you adopt Tottenham?
I guess before this season. Yeah.
Oh, was it that soon?
Yeah.
I thought it was like a couple.
Well, like kind of like the end of last season, I was like, I think Spurs are going to be the team I go for.
And so when you started rooting for them, were they?
So when I started watching,
they weren't good. I thought.
So when I caught on with them last year, they were in a good position in the league, in the Premier League, and then they just started losing left and right, and they lost themselves out of a Champions League spot. And then this year they've just been horrible all year.
Have I sent you the video of that guy on Instagram who won't cut his hair until Man City wins 5 games in a row? Is it Man City?
No, Man United.
Man United wins 5 games
in a row.
And dude, this guy has
he's got a fro.
It's a perfect type of thing to do for this.
It's hilarious.
He's getting a big afro, and like I think he was saying last time, Man United won 5 games, and it wasn't that long ago, but it's not happening recently.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's so funny. I love that. I think it's so funny.
No, it's a great thing.
So did I send it to you, or have you already seen that prior?
Well, I've seen it, but I think you might have also sent it to us.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Oh, baby, I can't wait for Saturday. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'll try to. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
So I think I can. Wait, is this Saturday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's calling sick, dude.
My boss isn't going to be there. I'm not going to call in sick. I'm not going to call in sick.
Take a 2-hour break.
I'll see what I can do. Before we move on to the NBA playoff stuff, because I know this is going really long.
Yeah.
That's okay. I have a couple things I want to talk about.
Sure.
ISR jail.
Send it.
I am putting Jordan Hudson, which you know how you spell her name? Jordon. Jordan.
That
Hudson.
spelling should just go in jail on its own.
It makes a lot of sense. So I'm just putting her in jail in general. We have never talked about her until this point, but I don't want any future talks about her.
We don't need to.
And I gotta say,
I think that whole relationship is kind of funny, but
her and Bill Belichick, they're apparently
engaged,
they're
right?
Engaged. By the way, she's 24, he's 72, so you do the math.
He just wants someone to give his money to.
Can we all kind of collectively agree, everyone who's listening or watching, and even us, it's just a little weird.
It's cringy.
Like
cringy for sure.
Like, love is love as long as it's legal, but this is kind of weird too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So ISR jail, I thought, hell, for the last episode in this studio, serves us right.
a couple episodes ago, I wanted to put someone in jail, and I remembered who it was, but I don't even know if it's relevant anymore. But it was Shador.
That's hard to do. That.
Yeah. Well, really, it was about like putting him in jail until he actually earned a starting spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So
but the whole chatter's kind of cooled down since then, anyway.
So for Jordan Hudson, I said yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything she could do to come out of jail? I was kind of thinking that, or does it matter? Should she just stay in jail?
Yeah, I think it's a lifetime ban.
Indefinitely.
Yeah.
Indefinitely. How about maybe until her and Belichick break up?
Yeah, because that would be news. Yep, I like it. Because I think that's a good chance that happens.
Yeah.
Engagement gets called off.
Yeah.
That's very likely. Let's just put it that way.
I don't know. She's young and spry, and he's old. He probably thinks he can't get any better than this, but who knows? So right now, that is our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th ISR jail entry.
Nice.
So, proud of us.
With one's been released, right?
Well, I guess I never kept track of the ones that we've...
Yeah.
I always kind of just delete and forget, unfortunately, but... We're good. I was just kind of tired. This is something I want to do for a couple weeks. I'm tired of people talking about her. I'm tired of, like, honestly seeing her. I saw that one interview with Belichick, and she was like, I don't want to talk about this. And I'm like, you're going to jail, bitch. You're going to jail. I'm sorry, you're done. So my Dallas Cowboys, the schedule came out a couple weeks ago.
Oh God.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Go for
can't go an episode I'm talking about him, I swear. So I'm gonna do the one thing I never do. I'm actually gonna let people in on a little thing.
Oh, let them in.
I'm gonna let you in on a Gage's guarantee early one. Cowboys guaranteed loss against a division rival, which I never do. Philadelphia Eagles, banner night. The Cowboys are not winning that football game.
Oh, that's the perfect time for them to pounce.
It's not gonna happen. There's not a chance. The Eagles could be resting their starters in the fourth. That's all I'm saying. It could be that bad. They're not losing banner night. So I'm already telling you right now, I'll bring it up later on. The Cowboys are losing guaranteed opening night. And I think it's Thursday. It's a Thursday, right? Opening night.
Keep that.
No, I'll remember. And also the Cowboys, they play the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. That'll be a loss.
What did you say? Thanksgiving already ruined?
Thanksgiving already ruined. They're losing to the Chiefs. I'm not guaranteeing it yet, but it's going to be a loss. Already ruined. Also, hey, Christmas is ruined too because they play the Commanders. That's probably going to be a loss. Also on Netflix. Come on, Netflix, really?
Netflix sucks.
I'm going to have to watch this on my phone, pirating it. Thanks. Appreciate that, Phil. Appreciate that.
All right.
So just to let you know, for me, Thanksgiving, Christmas, when it comes to sports, it's already ruined. I'm going to be at my grandma's house on Thanksgiving. It's going to be hot as fuck yet again.
Is the NFL playing on New Year's this year?
The Cowboys are probably playing. They're probably going to lose. Doesn't matter. The one thing I like about the Cowboys schedule, the one rare thing, the Week 10 bye, I don't mind that.
That's about as perfect as it gets.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not going to matter because the Cowboys are going to win 7 games anyways, but, Week 10 bye, I'll take it.
Yeah.
The Kansas City Chiefs are going to play on Christmas again, like I just mentioned. Or no, they play on Christmas, excuse me. They play on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Okay.
I think what the Chiefs are going to become are how the Cowboys and Lions are on Thanksgiving. And it might not be forever. I'm going to say at least as long as Mahomes is the quarterback.
Yeah, well...
Because they played last year as well.
Well, now that they're doing the whole Christmas every year thing, I think that it's going to be similar to like what the NBA does where like, LeBron plays every year on Christmas. Mm-hmm. Pretty much Steph does too. Any team that's contending plays on Christmas.
Because I think the NFL, now knowing that they could play games on Christmas and they don't give a fuck about the NBA playing on Christmas.
And they shouldn't.
I just think I could see the Chiefs wanting this because, the Cowboys have been playing on Thanksgiving and the Lions since, I think it's probably the 60s or 70s, whenever they first started.
Right.
So I can see the Chiefs be like, hey, how about we're this team that does this? So every Christmas... Sorry, Dave, you might be forced to watch the Chiefs for the rest of your life. So that's just that. That's kind of what I'm predicting. I could be wrong. Because maybe once Mahomes is gone, the juice could kind of leave as well.
Right.
Maybe not.
It is.
That's just what I think could happen.
Yeah, I don't see, unless the Chiefs just stay good without him, I don't see it being like a lifetime type thing like the Cowboys and Lions.
But from what I've read about that, the Cowboys and Lions, is they were like the first ones to kind of say, hey, I'll do it. Or we'll do it. Anybody else wanted to, so maybe that's why they decided to do that for them.
Right.
So,
I mean, did they play the original Thanksgiving game?
from my knowledge, yeah, I think they did, but I could be wrong. But I know they were one of the kind of trailblazers to do that. What I would love to see, honestly, one year is the Cowboys and Lions play each other on Thanksgiving. They'll never.
Yeah, they should bring that back. I think they should.
No, but I think it's always been they play but never each other.
Right, but I think they should bring that back. They should just do it once, like every 5 or 10 years. You know, doesn't have to happen.
Yeah, because the NFL's so big now. Like the
They
Cowboys,
can put whoever they want.
the Cowboys and Lions could play the game and then have 2 other games still go on to be fun.
And yeah,
play the biggest team at the time.
no one's worried about who the fucking Lions play on Thanksgiving or who the Cowboys play. To be honest, I mean, they just know the Cowboys and Lions are going to play.
But it sounds like they've never played each other because they always play the 2 different slots.
Right.
And so I would love for them to actually play each other.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to bring that back once.
Okay, so on to the NBA playoffs. Some conference semifinal recap. Pacers took care of the Cavs in 5 games. You know, the Cavs injury bug hit them.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer for
You
them.
can only do so much, so the Pacers took advantage and won the series in 5.
Yeah.
Did the Cavs need to make any kind of significant changes, do you think, this summer?
I think they got to just run it back. I really think they should just. I mean, like you said, they had the injury issues. Kind of sucks, but their roster, I mean, on paper is great, and you know they got some more playoff experience. Not as much as they wanted, of course, but they got some more playoff experience. So I think they got to keep this core together and run it back.
It just sucks. You get hurt at the worst possible time.
Yeah,
because they were really great all year.
Yeah, and they rolled even in that first round playoff series. I mean, they looked like one of the teams to beat.
Yeah. You told me I think that was the largest margin of victory in the playoff series in history or something along those lines.
Yeah,
ridiculous. The Knicks, they beat the Celtics in 6 games. New York had multiple 20-point comebacks in the series, but Tatum did go down with an Achilles tear late in Game 4. So kind of ish what the Cavs went through, injuries at the exact wrong time.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics were going to lose that Game 4, I think, anyways.
Yeah. And
it was going to be 3-1 New York. I think those... The fact that Boston lost those first 2 games was brutal. You know, as a defending championship team, I think they lost their way a little bit. They're. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Live by 3, die by 3. You know, you can shoot yourself out of a series. They kind of did that. It felt like they got to a point where they didn't know who was the guy that was going to take the shot at the end of the game. And when it got to crunch time, they couldn't figure out how to win.
The one thing I'll say about the Celtics and Tatum going down, clearly he's their best player. Mm-hmm. But did I think that they could still maybe pull off a series win, or at least force it to 7 with the personnel they have because they're pretty deep? Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I didn't think it was totally over.
Not to disrespect the Knicks.
But it's the Knicks.
But, you know, I mean, the Knicks, they're kind of proving what they can do on, like, the
or what they can do. Yeah.
So, you hate for the Cavs and the Celtics for this to happen. Obviously, it's part of the game. You know, we're going to get to your Warriors, but it kind of happened to them as well.
Right.
So you kind of just got to take it for what it is.
Yeah.
But the question you have for us is, can Boston contend without Tatum next year?
Probably not.
What is contend? Like, what's the definition of contend to you? Do I think they could still be a playoff team? Maybe like a 5 or 6 seed. Maybe. I
think they're good enough to be honestly really good during the regular season.
And the East is weak.
It's getting better though. You look at Indiana's gonna probably make the finals after going to the conference finals last year. Cavs were legit this year all season until the playoffs. The Knicks, they've made progressions. I don't know that it's. I will agree that it's probably top heavy.
Okay.
But even Orlando could be interesting next year, and they're getting more experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, without Tatum, they could be really good, really interesting, but probably not an Eastern Conference Finals team, I don't think.
Not.
Yeah.
The Florida Panthers are going to their 3rd straight Stanley Cup. Congrats.
4th team since 1980 to do that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Paul Maurice, Garrett's favorite.
Yeah, he has a punchable face.
He's got a weird attitude too.
Great. Do they call them managers?
Coaches.
Coaches, yeah.
Great coach.
Whatever it is, great coach.
Yeah.
The Timberwolves, they beat your Warriors in 5 games. Minnesota won 4 straight after losing game 1. Steph Curry wasn't able to make it back after his injury early in game 1. And do you think that the Warriors would have won if Steph was healthy?
I don't think they. I wouldn't go so far to say they would have, but they could have. I mean, the kind of sucks to not see it all play out because for the first 3.5 games, Minnesota looked very beatable.
Yeah, I think the Warriors could have.
They could have. I'm not going to go so far to say they would have.
Did I say Warriors in 7 in that series?
I think you did. Yeah.
And I would have felt confident even that I feel confident that happening even if Steph didn't get hurt and with the Timberwolves not playing their best up to that point.
Yeah. I mean, it really until the second half of Game 4, the Wolves did not play great basketball in my mind. But it sucks that that's the way they had to go out. But regardless, I mean, what happened to Minnesota against OKC? I think if the Warriors got through, that's exactly what would have happened to them.
Probably,
to be honest. But another season in the book for the Warriors. I don't know what's
Giannis, dude.
like the expectations. Giannis. I mean, they got to take every swing they can.
Of course.
In this offseason. I don't think Giannis is totally realistic. I mean, maybe I know him and Steph, I guess, have some kind of connection or friendship outside of the game, but.
But would you really give up Kuminga for?
I'd give up like 12 Jonathan Kumingas for Giannis.
I'm kidding. That was a total joke.
Yeah. I mean, like, realistically, the package that you have to give up for Giannis, I just don't even think it would be enough. I don't think the Warriors have what it takes to get Giannis.
Yeah.
Because they don't want Jimmy Butler. They probably don't want Draymond. And the Warriors aren't going to give up Steph, obviously. No. So it's like Podziemski and Kuminga and then a bunch of draft picks. But is that really that good? Because you can only give up 4 first-round draft picks.
I'll stick to our Giannis to the Spurs thing.
Yeah, that's more.
I like that.
I think that's a better. Although the Spurs could you could argue would be less willing to, mortgage future assets for a guy who's about to be 31.
But he's in great shape.
No, don't get me wrong. He
doesn't get injured. Does he?
Don't get me wrong. He's awesome. But I could see the argument for saying we keep getting these great draft picks. Like, why don't we just keep developing and not try and fast track this thing too much?
And you have a big man, but they kind of play different positions though, so you could make it work. Yeah, I do.
It would be an interesting fit. It would.
The Thunder beat the Nuggets in 7 games, which I picked on the nose. Brag.
Ding, ding, ding.
OKC won Game 7, 125-93.
That was an interesting series.
It was a good series. It'd probably be the best series that we see.
Denver definitely won a game, maybe even 2 that they probably shouldn't have.
But I'll give that championship
for sure. For sure.
Championship experience and medal. They know how to win games in crunch time. And do you think Denver's window is closing at all?
They're in an interesting spot.
I don't think it's.
I mean, as long as you have Jokic playing the way he is, you're going to be at least interesting. But the West is just they have so many teams that are on the rise.
It's tough. I definitely thought after they won their first one that they were kind of like. I was thinking like 3-peat.
I was thinking dynasty for sure.
I was thinking like they could be like kind of like the. I even said it on this podcast. I said after that first championship, I was like, Nikola Jokic has this opportunity, which not very few, but few seem to have these days. Is you win the finals the first year you're there, you get the finals MVP, and you're kind of on that Michael Jordan path already.
Right.
Obviously, Jordan did it twice, 2 3-peats, which is probably never going to happen ever again because it's just outrageous.
Yeah, the way the league is set up, it's not realistic.
But I think as long as you don't lose a finals and you go to like 4 or 5 and win all whatever, I'm not expecting 6.
Right.
Like I said, it's a little much.
Yeah.
But that's where I thought they were going, and that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, and when they lost to Minnesota last year, I was like, "What the hell just happened?" Like, I don't think anyone saw that coming, especially because Minnesota was up, 3-1 in that series or something like that.
Well, then after that, everyone's like, Minnesota's won the finals, and then they got smoked by Dallas.
Yeah.
So it's just funny how we people say things or we think things.
Yeah,
and
we get caught up in so much of what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I just think, Jokic is already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But I do think the organization needs to figure out. But Jokic is probably 28.
Yeah, he's approaching 30.
He's still pretty young.
Yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
And I know he doesn't look like he's in good shape, but he probably, playing in the altitude, he probably keeps himself in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
You kind of have to when you're playing up in Denver. You can't take what you have for granted.
Yeah.
And try to, in this offseason, get the players that you think can help you propel you back to where you think you can be. And I think, obviously firing Mike Malone was a bold move.
That was an interesting one.
But it kind of,
You could argue to give him a little boost.
Gave him a little boost, and they almost took who I think is going to be the NBA champions to Game 7.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this roster was right there. I think OKC was definitely better than them. But we're kind of in this weird era where being a repeat champion it's not easy.
We're going to see a 7th champion in 7 different years.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's very realistic to see them move on from Michael Porter Jr., which I think they had some high hopes for him.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he was an injured player coming into the league, but and he's had some injury issues throughout his career.
Flashes.
Yeah.
A lot of flashes.
But he's exciting to watch.
Nothing consistent.
Yeah, but we've seen him come up short in the playoffs plenty of times too. So I could see that being a big change for them. They got to get deeper, though. I think that's the biggest difference between what we've seen from these last two teams versus the championship team, is that they're just not nearly as deep as they used to be.
Yeah, that's very fair. On to the conference finals. Thunder, what's the... obviously we're winning, but is it
we'll go check back.
I gotta say, because I'm a trophy ceremony guy. You know this. As long as it's not my team losing, I'm a trophy ceremony guy.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see. So Thunder are most likely, I won't say it just yet.
Nope, they're celebrating.
Yeah, they're celebrating. Look at that. I love how the Panthers and the Thunder are celebrating.
Simultaneous.
So congrats to Sal. He's seeing his franchise go to the finals for the second time.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Proud of you.
That was easy.
I mean, man, it's... Every time I see the Thunder do good, I feel bad for the Sonics. Because I feel like, not immediately, but when... the Thunder relocated to Oklahoma City, like I think in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
It was like boom, they won the final or went to the finals 3 years later, and it just when I see the crowd and it's like, they have a good crowd. They wear the shirts, the whole thing. It's
they're into it.
It's a lot like a college crowd.
It is, yeah, very much so.
And I just hate to think like, man, Seattle could have had this.
Yeah.
And I don't know did Sal say he's ever claimed the Sonics? I think his dad was a fan.
That's the reason he's there.
That's why he's a Thunder fan, because they moved.
But he says his dad ditched the.
Now he's a Warriors fan.
Yeah.
But it's whatever. Sal, thank you for not being a Warriors fan. Because Sal, I love you to death, but you would be the worst Warriors fan.
He probably would be.
You would be the worst Warriors fan I know. So I'm glad that you're not. SGA gets the final Eastern Conference final. I think this is the Larry Bird Trophy.
No, Western. So it would be the Magic Johnson.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. And the Eastern is Larry Bird.
Yeah. Larry Legend.
So the Thunder win the series. The Wolves. Okay,
Sonics did win a championship though, so their fans got that right. It was a long time ago.
In the 70s, yes.
Long time ago.
And they went to the finals against Jordan, the Bulls in the 90s.
That's right.
Took them to 6 games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yes, they did have that. That was funny enough that you mentioned, or where you talked about the era of no repeat champions.
Yeah.
I think the 70s was much like that too.
Yeah. Yeah, before
Not a lot of
Magic and Burden came in.
Exactly. Yeah. OKC in this series, to me, they after watching the first 2 games, I thought, I don't know why I didn't pick this team in our personal pool to win in 5. I should have said 5. Don't know what I was thinking.
I thought about 5 to be different, but I was like, I want to give a little bit more respect to, because I think realistically I was thinking 6, and I was like, I'll give a little respect to Anthony Edwards and give him 7 games.
Because what did you said 7?
I went 7, yeah.
Did anyone go 5?
No, everyone went 6 or 7 in on both sides.
And did Dev pick the Wolves?
No one picked the Wolves. No.
Okay, so we all got.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. It's just the more like I said much about the Detroit Tigers. You can't say I've watched a lot of Oklahoma City basketball games.
Yeah.
But seeing them now in the playoffs, they are
they're so complete. Oh
my God,
1 through 9, you could say, and then they play incredible defense. They got one of the best offensive players in the league. It's a hell of a combination.
And now Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is in the same position right now as I talked about with Jokic earlier.
Sure. Yeah.
Going to the finals for the first time, you can win, probably win finals MVP.
Yeah.
You know, like this could be the start of a great postseason career for him. We'll see how that goes. You never know.
Yep.
But yeah, the Wolves. You could tell that the Wolves played a Warriors team without their best player in this series.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it showed big time.
Yeah, I think also this series, like we kind of mentioned how Denver went out against OKC, and I think it also showed how good Denver still is. Like they were the toughest team for. They were definitely the second best contender, I think, in the West to OKC, and had the most offensive firepower to hang with them. Because you could see so often in the series, like Julius Randle had a pretty good series against the Warriors, but he had a lot of duds in this series.
And so did,
even Ant had
so
some
did
bad
Anthony
games.
Edwards.
He had some bad games too.
I think we now need to really pump the brakes or complete stop on the Anthony Edwards Michael Jordan comparisons.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Although Michael Jordan,
he's still really young.
Although Michael Jordan did, I think probably this age was probably fresh out of North Carolina,
Right.
but got his ass whooped by the Celtics and Pistons up until he got to a point where he can do it on his own.
I don't believe Michael Jordan made a conference finals till he was like fucking 28.
Which was probably
28.
a 91, or no, probably against the
Like 88 or 89?
yeah, probably against the
Pistons?
Pistons, yeah. But yeah, so like, it's just growing pains, and you know even for SGA, you know they made the conference finals last year, didn't they?
No, they lost in the second round.
Oh, second round. So like it's just you kind of have to build your way up. It's pretty rare to.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think to have expectations for like a superstar player to take his team to a finals before the age of like 26 is kind of not realistic.
Yeah, it's
which is crazy because they're guys that are coming into the league at 19 years old.
Yeah.
That's so long. But yeah, I think a lot of teams have shown great patience. Denver being one, Boston being another, and OKC being the next. I mean, I think OKC actually is a little premature in getting this far and to be a favorite.
I have to imagine they're the youngest team to make the NBA Finals.
Oh, for sure. I think they're like the second youngest team in the league this year.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
It's insane. And I will give a shout out to, I mean, whoever their GM is. I don't know who it is, but goddamn, he knows.
Is it Sam Presti?
He knows how to draft.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. It's crazy. Because didn't they get a lot of the draft picks from the Paul George trade?
Yep. They've got a lot of draft picks from a ton of trades. I think they probably did from the Westbrook one, too. Yeah, Sam Presti.
Yeah, remember in 2012?
Oh, that was the guy whose face was on the screen when we first changed it.
Remember in 2012 when they made the finals and they won the first game against the Heat? And
They did win the first game.
And I think everyone's like, oh, man, the Heat
Heat are
lose.
cooked.
They
Yeah.
lose again. And then the Heat won 4 straight.
Yeah.
Not trying to rub it in, Sal, but I think everyone thought, because LeBron had won one until that point.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's going to happen again to LeBron, and then, of course, it didn't. So.
Thunder win and blow off fashion.
Killed him. Yeah. They fucking killed him.
They did.
I'm
They did.
I'm chilling.
So the Pacers, they lead the Knicks 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Indiana won the first 2 games in New York, of course. Game 1, they won overtime.
This series has been incredible. I gotta say it.
Halliburton, he hit the
That clank for the
God,
tie.
the ultimate clank. That probably went like 6 feet in the air and it landed.
The only like big time playoff shot I can remember being like that was that Kawhi one that sent them to the finals.
Yeah,
That went up but
yeah.
that was not as high as this one.
that was insane.
Yeah.
And Halliburton, I gotta give him credit. He knows when to have a moment. He did the Reggie Miller choke, and if you know Pacers Knicks.
I thought it was a little premature personally, but
we did text about it, yes, because I thought so too. Because I think, in his defense, it was so close to the 3-point line. He probably thought initially that it was.
Well, not even that, just being game 1 of the series too.
Well, no, I think it was just like.
I knew what he was doing. Yeah.
Like just to you choked this game.
Exactly.
It wasn't a series.
But just to be that cocky after one win only, it was kind of my.
But I think the fact that you were in the Garden, Reggie Miller was calling the game. Right. He had to do it. Luckily he won, because if he didn't, if they didn't win that game and he did that, it wouldn't be nearly as remembered.
Oh no.
Actually, it might be a little bit, because even when Reggie Miller had the choke, He did the choke. The Pacers lost that
They
series.
lost that series, yeah.
And
Which is funny.
I know Pacers fans are now hoping that that's not the case for them this time around.
Right.
Game 2, they won 114 to 109. Pascal Siakam, is he a forgotten player on the Pacers? This man is a champion, and I know he beat a KD-less Warriors team, but hey, you got to play who's in front.
And he was I guess the second best player on that team, right? And he's the second best player on this team.
Him or maybe Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Or maybe Fred VanVleet.
Even Fred was pretty good too, yeah.
Especially in that series,
honestly, he's got more of a bag than I remember.
Yeah, he's good.
He can play. I've never seen him play like this personally, and he had another great game just the other night.
I ain't never ever seen you act like this before. Shout out to John Wall. And then
Game 3 was great.
Yeah, Knicks bounced back Game 3 with a 20-point comeback, which they've done a couple times, I think, in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, it's like 3 now.
Yeah, winning 106 to 100. Your boy Karl Anthony Meows scored 20 of his 24 points in the fourth quarter.
Meow or never.
And then the Pacers won Game 4 last night, 130 to 121. Halliburton, who was just ripping the hearts out of Kings fans' chests.
This might be the sickest stat line I've ever seen.
32 points, 15 assists, 12 rebounds.
Zero turnovers.
No turnovers.
15 assists and 0 turnovers alone is insane. And then to have 30 and 12 rebounds.
As a Kings fan, it's tough. And I sent you guys, when I was at Bottle Rock, I saw this guy rocking a Kings Halliburton jersey. And so I saw him.
Crazy.
I saw him earlier in the day, and that's a picture I took.
Yeah.
And then I saw him again, kind of in the same spot, near the second stage.
Mm.
And I had my Kings hat on. And I walked over there, and I was like, "Hey, bro." He's kind of looking at me crazy. I was like, "Dude, the fact that you're wearing this Halliburton jersey as a Kings fan, it hurts. But I respect you for it. I really do. It's just tough."
And he was number 0 on the Kings too.
Yeah. It's just a tough scene. And a few notes on my Kings, if I may. So the Pacers have been to the Eastern Conference Finals twice, and probably, knock on wood, a Finals appearance.
Yeah.
And the Kings have only won one playoff game, or no, one playoff appearance, excuse me, since the Sabonis Halliburton trade.
Yeah.
It's a tough deal. It's a tough deal.
Tough to swallow.
And you're telling me that they traded for Sabonis for De'Aaron Fox, and then they ended up trading De'Aaron Fox? Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Overall, it's a tough scene over there in Sacktown.
And I remember for Halliburton, I wasn't a huge fan of him.
I liked his game, but he wasn't a star by any means.
Wasn't polished.
No.
It's just hard.
Yeah. I think
it's just really hard.
I think in the moment the Kings made the right decision to move on from Halliburton.
Because they made the playoffs the first time after that
right.
trade, for the first time in 15 plus years, I want to say. So yeah, I think at the moment you're like, oh, we're gonna be okay.
Right.
Maybe not NBA Finals champions, but
you're making a progressive move.
Perennial playoff appearance.
Sure, yeah.
And now that's just not the case, especially with
kind of sucks.
De'Aaron Fox.
It sucks how fast it's going to have to change. Because, reality is Sabonis is probably gone, in the next year or two. Obviously, DeMar DeRozan has no future with the team.
Zach LaVine can go.
Zach LaVine is expendable at this point.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a little tough. But Game 5 for the Knicks Pacers is tomorrow in New York. I think New York gets this one.
Do you think New York has a chance to get it to Game 7? What's your percentage chance of that happening?
Going to Game 7?
Yeah.
Out of 100?
Yeah.
I think they'll win Game 5.
I believe so, too.
I don't think they'll win Game 6.
That's going to be the tougher one, obviously.
It's just... I feel like 3-1 leads aren't as losable as they used to be. I feel like back when the Warriors and the Thunder did it 10 years ago, or 8 years ago, 10 years ago probably.
Yeah,
it was a little more commonplace. Even when the Cubs, they came back from 3-1 with the World Series. I know it's a different sport with that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I just feel like now, I see 3-1 lead, I'm like, you're done. You're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
I'd be curious to know what the last time it happened in the NBA was.
In any kind of series?
Yeah. Yeah, not.
I mean, I'm probably just saying that, but it's probably more recent than I can remember.
I mean, I would guess it's probably happened in the last like 3, 4, 5 years.
But when I think 3-1, I think of obviously.
You think of the big series for sure,
like Thunder Warriors, like I said, and Cavs Warriors, and
right?
That kind of thing. I would say the percent chance that they take it to Game 7.
Yeah, even force a Game 7.
I'll give them like a 20% chance.
Yeah.
What about you?
Probably about the same. I was going to say 30, I guess, but yeah.
More
or less.
I hope it does. That'd be great. Like Game 7 in the Garden.
Oh, that's true. It would be back in New York. Dude, the Pacers would be on their fucking asses at that point.
The Pacers would not be happy.
Yeah.
I mean, am I hoping for? I mean, I've been yelling Knicks tape this whole playoff run.
You have.
I have.
And you had Knicks and 7 in our picks, right?
I'm just saying.
I don't think it's impossible that they force that. And then if you get there, we all say, Game 7 anything can happen, right?
I mean, how much do you think tickets will go for if it happens in the Garden?
I mean, it's probably going to be a 1.5 times whatever it would have been.
That's insane. So we'll see. I do love Timothée Chalamet's love for the Knicks because he's been, I think, at every game in this series.
Please tell me you saw the Pat McAfee thing that he...
Yeah.
That was pretty fucking hilarious.
And Spike Lee looked sad.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, Spike Lee.
He was like, I don't like that this guy's doing this right now.
I wouldn't either. He had the towel over his head and stuff.
I mean, if I know they're celebrities and they have their egos or whatever, but come on, have some fun. I thought it was funny. All right, picks. Let's talk about what happened and where we're at.
Sal's just spanking us now. It sucks.
So, yeah, he is. So after the last round, I know we posted it on Instagram, but Sal's up to 11 points. You're at 7 in second place, and me and Dev are tied at 5.
Okay.
Sal had a big round. I mean, he nailed Wolves in 5 on the dot, and he had Indiana and OKC winning in their series. You were the only other one that nailed a series on the dot. You had OKC in 7, which you mentioned earlier. I was big wrong. We kind of were all way wrong on Cleveland, with the exception of Sal, who took Indiana. And everyone missed on Boston, of course. But
I'm glad you mentioned that because remember your bold prediction about the Celtics on the last episode? That they would win.
Oh, yeah. I got to pay.
I mean, do you want to pay for it?
Yeah, I'll pay for it.
Is that a payable offense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just take a little Thank you for reminding me, because I didn't remember that when it happened. I didn't remember it, 3 weeks later, but...
I'll take it off.
They, they did, of course, win Game 3, and were in the game. They actually had a pretty comfortable lead in Game 4. I think they were by 14 at one point in that game, and eventually lost.
Real quick on the bold predictions. Mm-hmm. Has Giannis asked for a trade?
Not officially, no.
Because, I mean, your bold
the deadline is coming up.
Well, you still have him until 2026. You have 5 years in 2021.
Oh, true.
So, I mean, it's looking really nice.
I guess the only thing is he has technically signed an extension since then.
But I don't mind that because
it's just about the 5 year window.
Within the 5 year window.
Yeah. So I guess. Oh yeah. Okay. So he has until next year.
Yeah, because it specifically says asks for a trade.
Right.
It's not the Bucks trade.
Yeah.
So I mean it's looking pretty good. but here's the hard thing is if we never know. So let's say they trade.
It's got to be at least like some kind of report that comes out, right?
That Giannis asks for a trade. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, because if they trade him tomorrow.
And there's no evidence of a request,
which would be really tough for you because I'm telling you right now, this bold prediction is Hall of Fame because you got a lot of these going for it. It is seriously, especially if it happens.
We should call Dylan if it does happen on the podcast.
Yeah, we should. No, I'm telling you right. I'll tell him hey, you've been on a podcast once. And you have bold predictions.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Which the odds are that he may or may not.
No, he probably doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, I think he remembers being on the episode.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
He might remember agreeing with you because I think you said it first, and he's like, "Yo, I'll do that same thing."
Yeah.
So yeah, Dylan is. I mean, he has a chance to have a.
Is that the time we finished like a handle of Sailor Jerry?
Yeah.
All right. To the Celtics not winning 2 games in a row.
Yeah, that's what happened when you were for Boston. Okay. Good for you.
Oh shucks.
So are we not going to do... contender rankings silly at this point?
Contender rankings are done.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like if we would have done an episode 2 weeks ago, maybe we would have done it. But yeah, once the conference finals come around,
let me say one thing about my contender rankings from the last episode. I had the Warriors at 3. I don't even know what I was thinking. Cause I think Steph.
You had him at 3.
I think I had Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry's already out at this point, or maybe not.
Yeah.
Stupid. But what? I don't even know what I was thinking at this point.
I'm not sure either. I had him at 7.
Stupid.
Yeah.
One thing I do feel good about is I had Celtics Cavs 7 and 8, and they got bounced, which I was feeling good about.
Yeah. I feel good. So mine, looking back, is not terrible. I had the Nuggets at 2, but I had the Thunder at 1. So those are my 2 top teams, and I looking back,
I
that's
did not get to 2 as well.
yeah. And I had the Pacers at 3, and they're about to go to the finals.
I had the Pacers at 5.
If they don't blow
Yeah,
it.
good for you.
I had Celtics 4, Knicks 5, Wolves 6, Warriors 7.
Yeah, I do not know what I was thinking with the Warriors. That was a dumb pick. You know what that pick was? They've hurt me before.
Yeah, right.
That was the I respect you and you've hurt me pick. So there's that.
So our conference finals picks, we all took OKC. No one got the second bonus point because we all took them in at least 6, if not 7 games. So we're all pretty much in the same spot. I took Indiana in 6. Dev took Indiana in 6. You took New York in 7. Sal took the Pacers in 7. So not a lot could change. I think Sal pretty much has this thing wrapped up at this point.
Yeah.
But so good for him. We're not inviting you next year, dude.
Hey, dude knows ball. Okay.
Hey, he's a ball knower.
Yeah. Finals prediction. What do you got?
So at this point, I mean, obviously we know OKC's in. I kind of think, assuming, I'm just going to say the Pacers are going to be there. And I do believe they're going to win
I do too.
at least one of the next 2 games. So I would say the Thunder look really fucking good. I think they're going to win in 5 games.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters who they play. I think, honestly, if they play the Knicks, it could be 4.
I disagree that I think the Knicks would actually be a tougher matchup. I think because...
But how do you figure?
I just think the matchup wise, not necessarily about what's going on in these current series, but I think matchup wise they're a little bigger, a little more athletic on defense.
So the Thunder are the second youngest team to make the finals since the Blazers. And
That's
it's a very
wild.
small margin. The Blazers in '76 were 25 years old,
Yeah,
average, and the Thunder are 25.6. So it's like
Yeah.
essentially the same thing.
damn, that's actually pretty crazy too. No scoring champ has ever won the NBA title in the last 25 years.
Wow, that is impressive. And that Lakers team was pretty good last time I checked.
Yeah, pretty fucking good.
I mean, I was talking about this before we did the podcast. Started the podcast. Is I almost want to pick OKC in 4 against any team, but winning the finals in 4 doesn't happen, from my knowledge, that often.
Yeah,
Because even after the Warriors did it against the Cavs, I mean, the only one I can remember before that was Spurs against Cavs, LeBron's first.
I think that's probably the other one. Yeah,
The other one.
Yeah.
And actually, yeah, because I think before that, did the Lakers win in 4 against like the Nets?
No, I think the Nets did get one.
they get one?
I think they got one. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but
Well, it's funny because I've been on the other side of it, like, because everyone's like, oh, it always goes 7. I'm like, actually, it almost never does, right? But it's even less likely that it's a sweep than 7. Yeah, because we've only seen like 5 or 6 7-game finals series in the last like 30 years.
yeah. So the most recent one, like I said, was the
Warriors over Cavs.
Warriors of the Cavs.
Is that what, 2018 or 17?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so 2017, 2018 Warriors, and then the Spurs against the Cavs. Lakers did beat the Nets.
Oh, was it? Oh, it was okay. I thought they got one.
Sweep, yeah.
Maybe the Nets got one or two against the Spurs.
Yeah, before that it was 94-95 Rockets against Magic. Yeah, I forgot they swept them.
I forgot.
Hakeem against
Yeah.
Shaq. And then
Shaq was a baby.
Pistons beat the Lakers in 4 in 88-89. I think that's when Magic Johnson went down. Got hurt maybe?
Yeah,
I think so.
that sounds
Maybe
right.
Kareem, something like that. And then
That was part of the Bad Boys.
the Warriors actually did in 74.
Oh, really?
Yeah, swept the Bullets.
Rick Barry. Shout out.
Exactly. And, yeah, older ones, but yeah. So we were right on the last 2. And it's just hard. So I wouldn't pick the Thunder in 4 based off the stats right there. So I'd probably pick them in 5.
They're really good, but I don't think they're that good.
You got to have respect for the conference champion on the other side.
Right.
That's just how it is.
I mean, do you? No, I'm kidding.
Well,
no, I'm kidding.
Based off what we just said for a sweep, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be one thing if this Thunder team was like an all-time like dynasty going for their second or third chip in a short span.
Yeah.
And playing Indiana, but yeah.
It's just, I gotta say, I'm jealous. I wish the Kings could be anywhere near this good. Like at least go to a finals. Right. It should be cool. It should be cool.
You know, a lot of people hate on the whole full-on teardown rebuild, but the Thunder fucking crushed it.
They did. Yeah, they did.
I mean, I know a lot of people hate the Astros for their whole cheating scandal, but it's kind of similar. They did the full-on, we're going to be bad. We're going to be absolutely terrible for like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And totally rebuild this thing. And it worked. So
are you putting Chet Holmgren in your... What's your echelon of the best white players in the league right now? We had this conversation, remember? You thought it was...
He's got to be up there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I
what's funny is I feel like 2 guys are on the same team with him and Caruso.
Caruso's one, yeah.
I mean, Caruso's a really good like role player guy. Like, I don't think he's
not a star by any means.
He's more of like a dog than when it comes to...
Yeah, because we're talking about current white boy NBA players from America
yes.
or from North America.
Yeah.
We'll call it. It's got to be Chet, Tyler Hero, Caruso's in the mix there. DiVincenzo's not bad.
Like Zach LaVine, I think we maybe talked about.
He's got to be half black.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's got to be half black.
Yeah. Because did we talk about this on the podcast or?
I think we did. I think
we talked about Cooper Flagg.
Yeah. I think we did.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's probably the next one in line.
Yeah. I don't really know Chet's stats in this series, but I think based off what I've seen, he's been really nice in the paint at least.
Yeah, no, he's been a good because they had in Game 4, the Thunder their trio of him or Shea, Jalen Williams, and Chet was the highest scoring trio in a playoff game in Thunder history. Yeah. And actually, it beat out KD, Westbrook, and Harden by exactly 1 point.
One of these days, I'm gonna put together the all-time Oklahoma City Thunder roster because they got some. Whether it's like Carmelo Anthony has played later on in his career.
Well, yeah, if you just take like the
names alone, they've had some motherfucking names.
They have.
It's incredible. I've always thought that about the Thunder.
Yeah, because they've actually done what we're looking at. They've done this twice, where they've gone to being really bad and built up through the draft, where they got like KD, Russ, and Harden, and they've also done like the kind of intermediate, like we're gonna still try and contend, where they got Paul George and Carmelo, which was kind of weird, and even CP3, for that matter. And then now they've gone back to like we're gonna go dumpster fire mode again, and they got potentially a championship team right here.
So I'll probably ask this in a couple weeks when the Thunder win. If the Thunder win. So with SGA winning, we'll assume the Finals MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Would he be the greatest player in Thunder history?
Ooh, man!
Because he would have the one MVP like Durant, and then the championship, and the one conference final win.
It's so easy to be nostalgic and just automatically assume it's KD, and even Westbrook's got an MVP. But I think he got an argument. I would say he would be on the fast track. He'd be on the fast track because
rings hold weight.
They do, and he's got a lot of career left. If he just continues to be a perennial MVP candidate and championship contender, he will surpass for sure. If he'd have to, I mean,
so you're not saying he would be no matter what after a championship this year if it happened.
I don't think it would be automatic. It is as easy as it would be to just do that. I don't think.
Because I think it's fair to say that we know Kevin Durant is an all-time better player at this point than.
Well, that's the other thing that's interesting is could you say
clearly Kevin Durant did. I know he had Westbrook, but when it comes to the team, they didn't have what the Thunder have right now.
As far as success.
As far as success and team chemistry
Right.
and efficiency,
Right.
I don't think so.
No, I agree.
Although that Thunder team did run into the Heatles.
They did.
A little tough.
They did.
Tough deal.
Yeah.
Like, could this Thunder team beat the Heatles? If that happened, you know what I mean? Like, it's... I know it's a lot...
You could argue no, yeah. You
It's,
could
it's,
definitely argue
a
no.
lot of ifs.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? It's just... You could sway either way.
Yeah. It's funny to think about, like, could... After it's all said and done, like, let's say Shea wins this championship. Maybe he doesn't even win another, but he's still one of the best players in the league for, you know, the remainder of his career. Could he be the best or most well-known, well-respected Thunder player of all time, but be below KD on the all-time NBA players list at the same time?
I think he could, because I think that's one thing about KD is he obviously didn't play his entire career. Like if SGA plays his entire career up to this point, like from here on out with the Thunder, he could be Mr. Thunder. Because I think Mr. Thunder, honestly, right now is Westbrook. Like if there's a Mr.
Because he stuck around.
And he has the triple-double, although he wasn't on the team when he broke the record.
Right.
But he stuck around for like the years that they weren't like super, super good. And
I get what you're saying there. Yeah.
So it's...
And
I think with the Thunder, you have the best player ever, which is KD as of right now.
Yeah.
You have Mr. Thunder, which is Westbrook, and then you have the guy who could possibly outshine both of them.
It's crazy.
And this team, like I said, has been around since 2009, and they've already had 3 MVPs for the team, and they had Westbrook, who also won MVP for the Rockets.
It's nuts.
It's insane.
Whoever's owning the team is doing all the right things from the top. That's all you can say.
Like their all-time starting 5 right now: KD, Westbrook, Harden, SGA, and then like I don't know, Serge Ibaka.
I was gonna say Ibaka, yeah.
I had the 5.
I mean, you could say and then like Chet could run into that at some point.
I mean, outside of Ibaka, which sounds funny, but those other 4 guys.
I'd actually put Ibaka on the bench and have Steven Adams just for the toughness.
Right. I mean, Sal would probably say Nick Collison. just to do that, you know what I mean? But like the all-time starting 5 for the Thunder, you could put up against maybe any starting 5 for any team ever.
I would agree.
Maybe outside of
I would say the Lakers
and Boston.
Lakers Celtics would be tough, but yeah, I would agree.
It's insane.
It is wild.
It's just it's yeah. I've thought about this with the Thunder for a while. Like they just somehow get you, and you have Paul George come off the bench,
right?
It's like God damn, dude.
And Melo and
fucking Paul.
Yeah, CP.
And you even have there's other players. We'll get into it later.
Last quick question before last call. So we've talked about how it's really hard to repeat in the NBA in this era, just based on the way it's constructed. But pretty much every important player on the Thunder this year is under contract next season. Is this? Do you feel like this is a team that's in line to repeat? Yeah, I mean, obviously they haven't won anything yet. They've gotten to the finals.
I know, it's funny.
It's crazy, this, but I'm ready to say that they could be the one that bucks the trend. I really
would completely agree.
Yeah,
because I think we thought with the Celtics they could have, and I think even if Tatum didn't get injured,
there was no guarantee they were winning that series by any means, right?
I know, but I still think
but I think to the point that you're getting to, yeah,
could have. Because I think before the year we both picked the Celtics to win the finals.
Yeah.
Against OKC, I believe.
Yep.
And so Celtics were kind of there, and now they have the injury, and now who knows what next year's going to be. But to agree with you, I think the Thunder are in the best position, and it's funny because they haven't even won the championship yet. But based off what I've seen, anything can happen. Anyone can get hurt. I'm not wishing for that. Based off what I've seen the past, 2.5 weeks of watching NBA playoff basketball, it's like I don't see a flaw in this team. Their defense is great. They don't let up.
Right.
They put you in the coffin. And
the fact that they're young and going to get more experience and more everything. Yeah. Like they're just going to be. It's almost hard to believe that they could be better than this. This team is amazing, and they could be much better than next year.
And so I'm going to say a couple more things. Would you give away players to get Giannis, or would you keep what you have?
For OKC?
Yeah.
Oh, keep what you have.
I think
for sure.
What you have to.
I think that's an easy.
Because like, why would you even try to mess it up?
I mean, who would you even give up for Giannis that you would think would make the team better?
It would probably be players and picks.
Like, would you give up Chet and like
Jalen or
I don't think Chet would be enough. You'd have to give up Chet and like. Fuck, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what would be worth it for OKC.
I know.
Or would you give up Jalen Williams?
Yeah,
and
or Chet and Jalen Williams.
Because I think Chet is, or sorry, Jalen Williams is the second best player on the team. But I think Chet has actually got some more unique abilities than Jalen Williams does. So that's yeah. I don't think there's anything that would be worth it for OKC.
And what I've seen also with OKC, I think in the series in particular, and also in the playoffs, you just can't. They are so incredibly good at responding to teams that score.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have like a 5, like they could be up by 10 and there's a 5-0 run by the other team or 8-0 run, and I swear the next 2 shots they make and they're both 3-pointers.
Yeah. No, they
Seriously,
do have that.
It's just what they do. It's like you can't ever stop them from scoring for a long period of time.
It does kind of remind me somewhat of what the Warriors were doing
exactly.
in their heyday. Yeah.
I can't say I've seen anything like it probably since the Warriors.
Yeah.
It's just, you're down, you're like, okay, yeah, we're coming up 5-0, 8-0 run, maybe even tie, and then they come back and score like
and they just
8 straight on you. They really
Yeah.
buckle down on defense and they score 8 on you, and you're like, okay, now we're back to square one.
Right.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Thinking about it right now, I think their best chance of winning 2, 3, 4 championships is by not trading any future assets.
Yeah.
Because we know how hard it is to like keep your depth. Like Denver had their issues with that. So you got to be able to replace them and like develop draft picks. I think
unless you can get these big name guys, much like the Warriors did with KD in free agency.
But that's like a big swing. I don't think they're going to ever need to make a big swing if they can keep Jalen, Chet, and Shea together. They're just going to need to try and keep that depth as formidable as possible. And I think if they can, even if they're picking late in the first round, if they can like use those guys and turn them into good role players, that's all that matters.
Well, it's going to be an embarrassment of riches because I would say, like I said, if they win the championship, they're going to have people or players in the NBA who want to play for them because they know how they've watched them play, they know how they work,
100%.
They want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So it's like they're going to win, and then they're going to have these players who are really good role players, and then they're going to have bigger name players who want to come play for them.
Yeah. It's 100%.
Much like what Katie did with the Warriors.
Yeah.
The guy's ass whooped, but got beaten the previous year, and was like, you know what? I'm a free agent.
Yeah.
How come you guys win a quick 2? I'm going to leave.
Yeah. All right. Time?
It's last. Is it maybe last call? Last call.
All right.
You want to go?
Yeah. So MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred reinstated Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson from the permanently ineligible list, which at this point, in my opinion, is pointless. But
pointless because you don't think they're going to get in anyways?
Well, they're not alive. Like, but
okay, so
what does it matter?
So they're not going to see it
happen
if it happens. But do you think Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson are going to get in regardless?
I don't, actually. Okay. I don't think... I mean, they could, but I don't think they will, necessarily.
Yeah. So I had to do a little research on Shoeless Joe. And he was part of the, 1919... or 1918,
the Black Sox scandal?
The fix of the World Series.
Right.
And that's why he wasn't... He was on the...
restricted list or ineligible.
Well, they call it... I think it was a lifetime ban. So I think Robert Manfred, his whole theory is... Well, it's a lifetime ban, and now they're not. Oh, now they're dead, which doesn't make sense because Shoeless Joe died 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's been forever.
So it's pretty much after Pete Rose died, I think. He was like, okay, we have to...
You got to look at some things, which is fine.
Okay, so here, and let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. So Rob Manfred's the commissioner, clearly. If he did this to me means he thinks they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So why can't he...
Or deserves an opportunity, I guess.
So why can't he... just say, I'm the commissioner, fuck the voters, these guys are going to the Hall of Fame?
I guess technically speaking, Major League Baseball does not own the Hall of Fame. It is the Baseball Writers of America Association.
So, which is also insane to me.
Hall of Fame.
So Major League Baseball does not... Does the NFL own their Hall of Fame? Do you know that?
it is the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so I could see them not being the owners. And then also, like, the
Basketball
Hall of Fame
is like,
is not owned by
they have
any
college
league.
players, and it's all weird.
I don't know about the Hockey Hall of Fame. It may or may not be. I would imagine probably not on all fronts.
You understand what I'm saying? Though? Like, Rob Manfred feels like these guys should. I feel like he thinks that they should be in. If he's reinstating them, and they're worthy of the Hall of Fame. I don't know Joe Jackson's stats and if he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I know Pete Rose deserves to be in the Hall of Fame based off of stats.
Right. I kind of semi-disagree because I don't think that it should be one person's decision on whether or not someone's in the Hall of Fame. It would feel kind of dictatorship-ish if one person got to decide.
But wouldn't it be pointless?
So he's giving them the opportunity.
Yeah,
right.
I do get that, but
right.
I just feel like it's gonna look bad. It's gonna be pointless since Rob Manfred did this, and no one's gonna vote for him. So he's gonna be like, okay, why did I even do that in the first place? I mean, I guess you give him an opportunity, and you do lift the ban since they're both dead.
He's probably like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and my hands are clean. Yeah. I did it, right? I don't know. I think you know where I'm at on pretty much most Hall of Fames, but baseball in general, where I just don't give a fuck who's in. It doesn't really matter. Whoever you think is a Hall of Famer,
okay,
that's your opinion.
No,
because at the end of the day, a Hall of Fame status is all anyone's opinion, right? It's whether it's a group of people or a small group of people or nobody.
And the fact that the writers are the ones that can vote for these guys.
Yeah,
and I understand there has to be some kind of like rule to it, you know what I mean? Like there can't just be like the fans can't vote because they would vote in like
they'd vote in everybody.
Wilmer Flores would be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, everybody or nobody would be in. It'd be one or the other.
I don't know. Like Pete Rose, and do we know Joe Jackson's stats? Was he?
I think he was really good as far as
gotcha.
Yeah, and even in that World Series that the White Sox were supposedly throwing, he was amazing in the series. Yeah,
like to make it seem like he actually didn't.
Well, either that or he was just not, in agreement on throwing the whole thing. But regardless, yes, of course I agree that Pete Rose as a baseball player was a Hall of Famer, but there's a lot of guys that are not in that were Hall of Famers and for other reasons, and I understand why baseball and the sport overall was not very fond of him. Mm-hmm. Next up, Derek Carr. He announced his retirement after 11 seasons in the NFL due to a shoulder injury, which kind of shocking because he's got money left on his contract. I don't know why he wouldn't just tough it out and just be on the on the injured list or whatever. But nonetheless, not a bad career. 4 Pro Bowl appearances. He actually 2016 he finished 3rd in MVP voting. Wow. He had a great year that year. Unfortunately, he got hurt.
That was the year, season. Yeah. And then it was who did we talk about this? Who the starter for the playoff game was? It wasn't Connor Cook, was it?
No. I think both teams were starting backups because they played Houston. I believe Houston had like T.J. Yates or some motherfucker like that.
Yeah.
And it was
like Matt Schaub. No, I'm thinking Houston. No, it's not.
Was it Connor Cook? Maybe it was.
We've talked about this. But I can't remember what it was.
But yeah. But regardless, California native Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Had a solid career. The CFP is not going to seed 1 through 12, unlike last year where they had automatic buys for the top 4 conference champions. It's going to be the top 4 seeds are going to be the top 4 ranked teams going forward. Okay. They will. I think they still are going to have at least 4 or 5 automatic bids into the playoff, but like for instance, Arizona State, who was I think ranked 11th or 12th last year, will not get a bye just for winning the Big 12.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I think they made a necessary adjustment that I think a lot of fans and people involved in the sport were, after seeing it play out, were not in agreement with, which makes sense.
Okay. When it comes to the CFP, I'm like, whatever. Just let me know.
Right. Yeah.
Let me know.
Tell me when it's done.
Yeah, let me know when it starts.
I mean, there's talking about expansion, which is probably going to happen next year or the year after. It's gonna eventually be probably a 16-team tournament with a bunch of SEC.
I get it. I do get it, but
yeah. The problem is they they ruined all the conferences, and so this whole thing with conference champions just doesn't matter anymore.
No.
But anyways, also we talked about the end of this show, not this show, but a show called Around the Horn, which many people know on ESPN,
Man.
and they had their last episode last Friday. I don't know if you probably didn't have a chance to check it out, but I did watch for a little bit.
I did see some certain clips of it.
Yeah, and
it's sad.
it is sad. It kind of just doesn't make sense. I know ESPN's probably not doing as well as they once did.
Yeah.
But regardless, it doesn't seem to make so much sense to end this show because they didn't. I mean, I've turned on my I'll just say my general routine on my days off or before work starts with the Herd, right?
Of course.
Then First Things First on Fox FS1, whatever.
Which is a good show.
I don't mind it. It's a good debate show.
I'm a Nick Wright guy. I'm a Broussard guy for sure.
Yeah.
And I like Kevin Wildes.
Yeah. And then so that ends at 2:00, and that's exactly when Around the Horn would start. But now they filled Around the Horn slot with just a 30-minute segment of SportsCenter before
did they?
PTI,
That's dumb.
which is pretty stupid and just the flow of the sports talk day is just not the same as it once was.
Yeah. Well, because PTI's to me was always the better show and the
for sure,
more
yeah.
popular show.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was always a nice and I liked Around the Horn, and I still do.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm not going to see it anymore, but I always
Yeah.
appreciate it. I always thought it was just a good flow right into it.
Yeah, kind of like a different style into like the veterans of Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon, the talking heads, as you will. But yeah, 23 years rather, which is a fucking hell of a run.
Oh, absolutely.
Tony Reale, I believe, was the host for 21 of those 23 seasons.
Yeah.
And
sometimes I feel like they didn't go out on top, but I feel like it's okay to go out when you're maybe necessarily not like at your lowest.
Sure, yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, like sometimes like you don't have to we see some like, shows that maybe could have gone on longer.
Right.
And they cut it short.
Right.
And it's like, oh, it sucks, but I'd rather them maybe cut it short than extend it too long and it get like kind of stale and not be as good as it once was. Maybe Around the Horn, 20 years is a long time.
Yeah.
But I always kind of felt, even with the new format of it that they had, I didn't really love.
Yeah.
It still works. They always have the same kind of people on. And
yeah, generally they got familiar faces rotating on the panel.
It's sad. It's sad because it's kind of like our childhood a little bit.
Right.
Or at least like when I started liking sports,
It was one of the main shows.
Some of the main shows that you could watch.
I will say, like, it didn't directly inspire this show, but it's kind of a type of show that we've looked up to as far as talking sports and,
for sure.
and opinions and all that.
That and PTI.
And PTI as well.
PTI is like essentially
is this
is this right here?
Very
yes.
close.
So all those people we definitely
look
up to, and it's just sometimes things they have to stop.
Right. I thought it was cool that they had for the last show they had like I think at least 2 if not 3 different sets of panelists.
Well, I did see Woody Page was there, and I think he was in the first episode. And Woody Page had to be there regardless, because Woody Page is like...
Yeah.
Because what I like about Around the Horn a lot, too, is they always keep the stats of, like, who's won the most, like, the percentage of wins. Because I know you're a big stats guy, but I also like that kind of shit,
Yeah,
too.
It's kind of fun, especially for a show like that.
Like how many appearances and that kind of thing. I really love that about Around the Horn. So, and Tony Reale, he was always kind of a nerd, but I always thought it really worked what they did.
Yeah, no, I think he did a good job hosting.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, very good job hosting.
What's funny is Max Kellerman, I think I've said before,
was the first host,
in the show.
Yeah.
And I'm a Kellerman guy too.
Yeah, I don't mind him. Yeah.
I was kind of sad when First Take dished him out.
Yeah.
I thought post Skip Bayless for First Take, Max Kellerman kind of seamlessly made
he did a pretty solid job of keeping it together. It's since then it's like they've had a new secondary host. Like,
it's pretty much Stephen A. and Friends.
Yeah, exactly.
What I would say.
Exactly.
But with that being said, the final show for Around the Horn. This is our, we would think, final show here in the studio.
I've been calling it the final scheduled episode at 1071.
Okay,
yeah.
I like that.
Because not to say that could never do one here again.
Yeah.
If I'm taking care of the house while the parents are gone or something like that,
So,
but
cheers to the final scheduled show at 1071 Johnson Street.
Hopefully we'll see you soon at the next stop.
Yeah, we definitely will. Probably our longest episode here.
We did a good number, approaching 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. We haven't done one of those in a while.
Yeah, it was a long 3 weeks without talking, so that makes sense. But
how long have we done shows here now? 2 or 3 years.
So it's been almost 3 years because we moved out of Dover at the end of June, 2022, right after the Warriors hosted the trophy.
Oh man, what is your favorite moment or episode since doing him here? Would you
Since
say?
we've been back,
We've been back here. I kind of
That's
thought about
hard
that.
to say.
Kind of thought about that myself. I always think like when Nick being here was kind of
Nick
cool.
was a good one, yeah.
That was a cool episode, although he wasn't like he was there.
He was more of a side show guest, yeah. I think the time we did one, it was when we were you were wearing your Kings jersey, I had my Warriors jersey on, and I don't know if it was during the series, but it was on the couch out there.
Okay.
If it was during that Warriors Kings series or if it was after it happened. I would have to guess it was either during or right before it started.
I'd probably say one of the Danny episodes that we
Danny's
had.
always had good ones.
The one that Sal always mentions that Danny was like every week.
Yeah.
That one was pretty funny. I think.
That was a good one.
Because we even did I think early episodes we did them in there.
The first one or two, yeah. Because we did one with Sal in there. Actually.
Yeah, we did. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we appreciate everybody who's been here.
We're going on 5 years, dude.
I know, it's crazy.
It's so wild.
I know Devin's obviously done a couple episodes here.
Yeah.
Sal has. Danny has too. Nick was here. I think
that's it.
That's probably about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, with your new place, we could expand a little bit when it comes to having other people on.
For sure.
Because things. You have like a comfortability.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. So
we can invite some crackheads over.
Yeah, it was we're not going to cue the Green Day "Good Riddance" Time of Your Life here because the podcast isn't over.
No,
it's just location.
I'm moving out of this house. Is basically what's happening. I don't know if we explained that, but that's what's happening.
Yeah. He's moving out of his house, which I'm very proud of you for,
Yes.
and I hope we don't have to come back here to do this for longer than like a day.
Yeah,
So,
one off is fine, but other than that, hopefully this is the last time.
So we'll probably see you again in about 2 weeks. This guy's got to move out.
Yep.
It'll probably take a little bit. So we will see you
Next
time we see you.
Peace.